Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
A look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
The Jay Foreman Postgame Show is brought to you by Anderson Ford and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance.
Here's Valenti dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
Here are your hosts, Jay Foreman and Nick Sainert.
Welcome in, Nebraska football 2-0 overall following a 68-0 victory over the Akron Zips. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman will join in just a moment as he makes his way back from the stadium. So sitting in for the meantime, Austin Orman. Austin, 68-0 your victory. Let's go through some stats real quickly. Dylan Raiola, 24 of 31 through the air, 364 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no INTs. A career day for Emmett Johnson, 14 rushes, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then 14 different players caught a ball tonight for the Huskers. The leading receiver, Ja'Cory Barney Jr., 7 catches for 132 yards, no touchdowns, but 7 catches on 9 targets. Before we get Austin's thoughts, want to thank our sponsors, Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance, and Baumgars. Remind you guys, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire evening for your thoughts, your opinions, your excitement, your frustration, if you have any. I don't know how you could, but your frustration, if you have any, 402-464-5685. You can always watch us on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable, channel 961. If you are wanting to have a video component, if you want your usual audio options, FM dial, mobile app that works everywhere. So as you make your way back to wherever you're from, if you're out of town, make sure you have our mobile app downloaded and we'll take you through the evening. Hour and a half for the Jay Foreman and I post-game show. Another hour and a half for DP and Austin as we will take you up till 1 a.m. here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. With that, Austin Orman, general thoughts on the 68-0 victory.
Let me get in front of the negativity that I'm sure we're going to hear from Husker fans. Number one, 6 penalties for 71 yards. Husker fans not going to be pleased about that. Nebraska allowed more rushing yards to Akron than they did to Cincinnati's running backs. I'm sure they'll get out in front of that. And then Nebraska only held the ball for 30 minutes and 10 seconds. Barely squeaked by in terms of time of possession. Other than that, though, really nothing to complain about. It was pretty dominant from the start when you look at what Nebraska was able to do. Up 9-0 after the first quarter. Got just 1 safety. It wasn't 2. Guy did break the plane, but Nebraska made up for it there not long after. Double-digit points in the second, third, and fourth quarters. Dylan Raiola looked the part. This is a team in Akron, Nick, that we thought coming in was going to be overmatched by Nebraska. To what degree, we weren't quite sure. I guess I gave Akron a little bit too much credit. I think it was nice to see Nebraska really put its foot on the gas pedal and keep it there pretty much the entirety of the game. Carricker and I were talking about that on the pregame show. We keep waiting for it. What can Nebraska do to keep its foot on the gas pedal? I mean, it wasn't just a foot. That was the lead foot, the proverbial brick on the gas pedal as well. Really good signs for it in Nebraska in that second game of the 2025 season.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, open for you guys the rest of the evening. We will get to and dissect every little piece of this game over the next couple of hours. Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Right off the bat, we've got John on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. John, what's on your mind?
Hey, guys, good evening. Great game. Watched it. Hey, what program is Matt Rule on? He looks like, he's pretty lean.
He has lost some weight.
Has anybody else I noticed that? Or he looks great.
Well, Matt Rules pointed that out.
Thanks,
That's part of the reason that he ran out of the tunnel with the team in Kansas City was he said he challenged himself to work out. I think it was every day. He stuck to his goals. He lost the weight that he wanted to. And then he's showing his players that there's a reward for that, right? It's kind of a reward for him doing something he's never done before. It's a show of his commitment to something. So he's trying to lead by example for his team. And I think that's admirable for Matt Rule. Yeah, he looks the part, says he feels better. And you certainly got to be feeling better, not just about himself, but his team after a 68-0 win like the Huskers put up tonight.
Well, and that's another thing, right? And we got this text off the text line, 402-464-5685, says, this is how you're supposed to beat a team like Akron. And I think that's a good place to start because Jay and I talked in the pregame show, the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. We talked about how, hey, you know what? There's forget the spread, forget what you're supposed to win by. Just go out there and execute. And really at the start, Austin, and we'll dive into this, at the start, there were a couple of drives that did not end the way Nebraska wanted it to. And obviously the fumble by Emmett Johnson inside the 2-yard line, and then you get stuffed on the quarterback keeper with Heinrich Harburg inside the 1-yard line. Those are 2 of your first 3 drives. And it wasn't necessarily ever a moment of panic because defensively, Nebraska, you could tell how overpowered in comparison to Akron's offense that Nebraska was. But still, once again, to this texter's point, this is the way you're supposed to beat a team like Akron. This was a no-nonsense victory. This was a business-like approach, business-like mentality from the start. And we got to see some of Nebraska's depth at multiple positions, especially on the defensive line. And that's been such a big question, I think, going forward for Nebraska to start this season has been, okay, there's a lot of bodies, there's a lot of names on that defensive front. What type of what combination is John Butler and Coach Braden going to put out there? I think that was a big question. Not that we got clarity tonight, but you feel a little bit better about the entire depth at that position.
Behind the starters, we saw a lot of snaps for Gabe Moore, this guy that stood out to us, at least being on the field. Obviously, Cade Pedjock, welcome to the party, young fellow, with the night that he was able to have. Riley Van Poppel, I think, answered the bell. Not going to put up a huge stat line, but anytime you can block a field goal and get that fired up about it, that's something. You saw Nebraska be able to rotate through the entirety of its unit, essentially, in the 2 deep in the first 2 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
Because even as you move to the second and third levels, Dawson Merritt was in on the second drive of the game. Rex Guthrie was in and made a couple plays as well. So Nebraska was really able to get the playing time that you think of, right? Not just for the starters who did start the second half, were in for a drive, and then it was pretty much on to the backups from there. But Nebraska was able to get its 3s a little bit of run mixed in with the 2s, and you didn't really see a drop-off. Won't be the case against Big Ten caliber competition, but for a bunch of these guys who have had such minimal on-field experience at Nebraska, for them to get any sort of in-game experience, regardless of who the opponent is against, that I think is the key mission accomplished for Nebraska.
I think you're absolutely right. Before we keep diving in, Jay Foreman's in the building. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the phone number to call or text the rest of the evening. Jay and I will have coverage for an hour and a half here up until 11:30 p.m., while Austin and DP then take you for an additional hour and a half, additional 90 minutes up until 1 a.m. following Nebraska's 68-0 victory over the Akron Zips. Nick Sainert alongside now. Jay Foreman is in the building. Jay, let's just get your general thoughts here on Nebraska's 68-0 victory.
I mean, that was just, annihilation. That'd probably the nicest way to say it. They did what they had to do, and it goes both ways. You want to give them a tremendous amount of credit for doing what they have to do, and they probably did it with a little bit emphatically. Obviously, was able to show. I think the bigger thing for me is show the ability to show up, kick butt, and then do what you need to do. Was it perfect? No, but it was a game that they needed, that they should have played like this, and they needed to, and they went out and did it.
Once again, 464-5685, the Jay Foreman Postgame Show, sponsored by our friends Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Krekak of State Farm Insurance, and Baumgars. Let's start first. A spot that we talked about in our pregame segment, Jay, was the quarterback and Dylan Raiola. Dylan on the day has himself a very efficient game, and we can't bury the lead big picture wise. Dylan ended the Cincinnati game completing his last 11 passes. He started today 9 for 9. The 20 consecutive pass completions actually set a school record. It was the record before that was held by Dave Humm way back when in the 1900s. And it was 15. The streak was 15 when he at Kansas. So Dylan etches his name in the statistical, record book, I guess. But tonight, Dylan, 24-31, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, and maybe the most important number in a game like this, no turnovers.
No turnovers, and everything was on time and on target. I saw like where he had the little swing pass to maybe Ives, and there was a little bit behind him. But it was accurate enough that he could easily catch it and get upfield. So, for him, I think he's probably going to go back and dissect the little things. But overall, it's more of the same. I think he was really, really efficient, quietly, maybe the most efficient quarterback in the nation last week. 70% completion percentage, no interceptions, and 2 touchdowns last week. And then obviously against a game opponent or a game opponent in Akron. And what I mean, game and ripe for the picking. They went out there and exploited him. But I think the bigger part is not only is Dylan, it's the execution of, the plethora of receivers. Obviously Hunter got off early. Lindenmeyer probably broke it open in the seam route. And it was a really, I think people don't understand how good of a pass that was, right? Just barely over the fingertips of the linebacker, tight enough to the hash that where Lindemeyer's out of like danger of getting his, block knocked off. And gets a sneaky first down. And then obviously I think that passing attack really opened up some holes for, Emmett to have 2 explosive runs, especially a week after people were wondering if they could, if Emmett's a home run hitter, now, it's kind of like the goal line's always going to be moved for the offense. And you know what, they might have earned it, but, kind of grinded out 110 yards last week. Well, then they were like, well, we need a home run hitter. Can we break tackles? I think they did that. Now, you're supposed to against Akron, right? But the difference is you don't want to be calling in here at 10:07, or we're talking at 10:07, reading text and all that stuff, that the game was like 24-3 or something like that. So they did what they needed to do.
That's what somebody said on the text line just a moment ago, and I can't remember who it was, but it was, in previous years, you feel like this might have been a game that Nebraska played with their food a little bit, so to speak, and they might have won by a couple of possessions, but certainly not in the fashion that they won tonight. I don't know where your thoughts and where you lay on that one. I think
not with this bad at Akron. This team at Akron is bad. And Joe Morehead is, well-respected offensive play caller.
He's been at some really good spots.
Right. And he's got the head coaching job. But the timing of the departure of the previous coach and how he left really just gutted that program. And so normally a Bowden-led Akron team that Nebraska's, better than, sure. This one here, it's not, you didn't go there. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline. If you want to call in, give us your thoughts and ask Jay any questions, feel free to do so. Or you can text him on the text line, Starter Heyman text line 464-5685. Jeremy in Lincoln says this, fellas, we've had some large victories recently, but I can't remember dominating a team like that in a long time. That looked like a top 25 team finally, complete domination. Jay, one of the things that we both agreed on was regardless of the margin, right? Like there was something you could look at, and I think what I specifically said to you was Nebraska could win this game 34-3 and be efficient, and still get positive results out of it in terms of building depth and getting younger guys some playing time and some film to look at this week. Despite it being a 68-0 game, this might be kind of a layup. The game was efficient as well.
Yeah,
Nebraska's longest drive was 3 minutes and 55 seconds long, but it never felt rushed, and it never felt like Nebraska was trying to push too much.
No, I mean, they did, what they're supposed to. They took what the defense gave them, and then they were able to exploit it with, obviously some run after the catches, or, yards after the catch, and obviously some explosive runs in the run game. But they went out and blocked the guys they were supposed to. And particularly the two big runs by Emmett. Me and you could have got to those holes. Now we might not have went as far as Emmett. We could have got a first down or so. So
no breakaway speed
right,
in this studio.
No, but so they did what they needed to do, and it wasn't like that's what I wanted to see. I didn't want them to see like, okay, we're better than these guys. Like you're almost trying to embarrass them by doing things that you would never do in a competitive game. They went out and played, in game plan, like it was a game, Akron team, and you want to play, cover one, you want to play cover four, whatever you want. We're gonna beat it, and then we're gonna, run it down your throat, and see what you do next.
Because that was part of it, right? Talk a little bit about that for now this week, going into Houston Christian, and then forward going into the Big Ten conference play, to where when you have a game like this, it wasn't. Sure, is Akron in the locker room probably feeling a little embarrassed because they just got walloped 68-0 and they almost got 70 points hung on them? Sure, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't Nebraska didn't maneuver and operate in a disrespectful way. It's not like they were lining up and taking shots in one-on-one coverage on the perimeter.
No, and running trick plays.
No, it wasn't in a disrespectful way. It was in a methodical, strategic, just dominating way.
Yeah, they ran a screen to Mosey and he took it 30 yards. Then they ran another, kind of off tackle play. Quinn Knives scored. And then they ran the same play, with the number 35.
Makai
Nelson, excuse me. And he broke one. And then, a couple other guys, got in. You got Smith, and obviously Quinn Clark was a really good play. But I think it's one of those things that you're running plays, to get guys reps, but you're not doing anything that you think, okay, we're running it up against Akron and really embarrassing them. I think one of the things also that's very, very important that you have to understand in this world of NIL and professional sports, and that's what I call college football right now, or college sports in general, is that the days of worrying about people's feelings and all that, those days are over.
Yeah.
Because with the 4-game rule for red shirts, you have to be aggressive at all times on offense, defense, and special teams, depending on what position the players play. And here's why. If me and Nick are 3 or 4-star recruits and we have 2 guys ahead of us, but number one, you're developing us, but then also you want to keep us interested and keep us here.
Yeah.
This is a game that we revert to when we think about what we could do at Nebraska. So if you're in an offense and they were up significantly, like 46-0, I think, or something, 40-something to nothing. And there was 2 or 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And if you just came out and just run inside, outside zone and not even try to win, really we practiced all week.
Yeah.
We went through training camp. This is an opportunity. We finally did it, versus, say like in years past, the guys in the backup didn't get in. And you sit on the ball, that you just can't do that. You just can't.
This is, just as I read through statistics and look at the game and how it unfolded and look at some of the things on the Nebraska side. Let me just read some of the drive statistics for everybody before we get to some thoughts on the text line. So Nebraska had 14 total drives. They scored on all of them but 2, all of them but 4. So they scored 10 out of 14. 2 of those obviously came on the fumble by Emmett Johnson and the turnover on downs. The other 2 were when they kneeled it down with 1 second left on the clock to go into the halftime locker room. And then the other one was at the end of the game. So really, if you take away those 2 drives that ended the first half and ended the game, Nebraska scored on 10 of their 12 drives tonight. Their average time of possession was 2 minutes and 8 seconds. They averaged over 55 yards per drive. Their average start on field position, because I think at some point in this conversation, we have to get to the punt return game with Ja'Cory Barney. We saw it dramatically different than what we saw last Thursday against Cincinnati. Nebraska started on average at their own 40-yard line. That's a significant amount of a shorter field that you have to travel.
Oh, for sure. And obviously it was a point of emphasis this week as far against Akron to get the punt return game going. Ja'Cory Barney wanted to, obviously prove himself as well, and he has some explosive runs. I think it's obviously set up by the defense of pinning Akron back and putting them in a situation where they're literally punting out of their own end zone. Almost, it seemed like every drive. And so also, I think the change in wind, I'm thinking about the one where he was returning it from north to south, and it didn't even get to the 45-yard line, and he caught it on the run. Really, he caught it was a 18 to 20, 21-yard return. Heck, you could have just thrown an interception and they would have got the ball at the same place, right? I mean,
it was so funny because you look at where they started on that drive, because I know exactly the one you're talking about. And this is maybe one spot where we could critique Nebraska, unfortunately, is where they, on that same punt return, they started at the Akron 21-yard line.
Yeah.
And they got 3 yards on that drive and had to kick the field goal.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure. You want to be able to get to the point. I mean, and that's where, I guess is good about games like this. Number one, anytime you can win, and obviously with Nebraska is trying how to win a game or games consecutively and play well. But you can go and teach off of these tapes as a team and saying, if we want to get to where we've said we want to get, doesn't matter who we play against. When we get the ball on the 21-yard line against a team like Akron, it's got to be 7 points. We could run the same play over and over till we get there. Or when we get on the 1-yard line or 1 foot line on 3rd and 1, we got to punch it in. So those are the things that, when you have a great, a good victory like this and you're able to kind of get the good mojo going. I keep always thinking about Indiana beating the brakes off the team last year, and these kids might, get more teaching moments and more attention into it off of games like this. You still can revert back to those and hammer down those points, maybe even more than, what you did on, the Ives run or the Emmett run, because those things those red zone opportunities, and say, okay, let's just play like devil's advocate. Say we're playing Iowa here, and it's a huge game, whatever the stakes are on the line, and they're punting out of their back end, and we have a huge wind from the south to the north. And he kind of, does what we do on the golf course, kind of fluffs it off, a little high fade, right? It's up there, and we catch it on the run, and we end up at the 25-yard line. It doesn't matter if it's Akron or Iowa. We have to not only know and think that we're going to score points, but we also can't just take 3 plays off, because even if we get a first down, another first down, and then kick a field goal, and there's 4 minutes left, now there's only 50-some seconds left, and we saw how Iowa played today. It's bigger than just tonight. That's the type of stuff that, Coach Rule and staff can really, hammer home.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire show today. Once again, Jay and I will go up until about 11:30. Then DP and Austin will take over and take you up until 1 a.m. here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. A couple minutes left in this segment before we get to break. Let's get to some of the thoughts on the text line. Somebody says just overall thoughts on the game. Isaiah Mosey, that is, resist to go down. Unnamed texter says he'd love to see that one. Somebody said, I sure hope we can keep Latif around. He looks like he could be the real deal future quarterback. Dave in Fullerton, I'm a big fan of frozen ropes in stride and let them run. 7809 on the text line. The offensive line was on fire. Anthony says, we checked the expectation box with a fat Sharpie on to Houston Christian next Saturday. Eric and Hickman says, great game. No complaints. The stadium experience, at least in the South Stadium, was a major downgrade, though. People complaining because there were no vendors in the stands. The lines below were awful. I'm hoping that they just weren't prepared, because if that's how it's going to be, go back to Runza, Pop, and Pizza and start taking cash again. That part was a joke. So there, I did hear that a couple of times on my way out of the stadium, that lines were kind of ridiculous underneath. So feel free to let us know about that.
Need some more brewskis?
Well,
they need more beer in there? Is that what they want?
More. I think more concession stands. You got to remember. So they switched it. There's no awesome young people or even older folks selling all the food and the drinks up in the 50th row of North and South Stadium. So it was certainly an adjustment, something that I'm sure there's growing pains going to be there. However, guys, Nebraska wins at 68-0 over the Akron Zips. Nebraska once again scores on 10 of essentially their 12 drives. The 2 drives that they did not score on was on back-to-back possessions, in the middle to late stages of the first quarter, where Emmett Johnson fumbled inside the 2-yard line, and then obviously the turnover on downs on the quarterback keeper by Heinrich Harburg there. Sure, you'd like to punch those in. One thing, though, let's talk about the goal-to-go situations. Last week on Thursday, Nebraska gets into that area. They commit a false start. Obviously, we know that was Elijah Pritchett. Gunnar Gatula got the start at left tackle tonight. Nebraska didn't really shoot themselves in the foot, offensively at least, with some penalties this evening.
Yeah, I mean, they have 5 penalties, 65 yards or something like that. Offensively, legal procedure ones when you're down on like the 1 foot line, it obviously becomes even more crucial in reference to last week when you don't score, or where you get backed up and then you end up stymieing yourself. And then people and fans definitely have the I guess scar tissue, PTSD, whatever you want to call it, about anytime you do something that a team in previous years, even a decade ago, it's like, oh, here we go again. And it won't be that same magnitude. So mistakes are going to happen and you have to recognize them, but then also you have to, try to, fix them in practice. So I think the biggest thing they need to do, they can take from it, is that they were, pretty efficient offensively. Now, you don't know what the details are in the tape. I'm sure, you really got to hammer home technique and leverage and all that type of stuff. And, hitting holes, making sure you're crisp, because everything that you're doing right now, and yes, you need to celebrate this game and then right back to work tomorrow. Mm-hmm. This is not we're on vacation. This is drop the hammer down even more.
That's what I was going to ask.
Mentality from here. This is it. By 12 o'clock tonight, or by the time you wake up tomorrow, you're on to Houston Christian.
That's what I was going to ask, because in a game like this, I think it's easy for maybe some of those guys to get lost in the results, lost in maybe some of the cool plays. I mean, there were a lot of really good plays made tonight. A lot of athletic plays by some guys that we're going to see consistently throughout the year, and some that might have shown up in the later stages of the game here. How do you flip the script so quickly? Because this is a feeling that, let's be real, not a lot of these guys have felt, and Nebraska as a program has felt recently.
Right, but that's what you have to do. You got to demand it. That's where your guys in your locker room, this is where your leadership comes in. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one thing for, Coach Rule and those guys, they're going to probably go home and then, watch, report whenever. But the 130 guys, they got to police each other. And you're not a Debbie Downer. You're not a hater when you're saying, okay, look, that was it's almost like graduating high school with I don't know, I had like a 3.4 or something.
There you go. Right? That's right on. Right? That's right on point.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's great, but that's what you're supposed to do. Right?
Yes.
That's what you're supposed to do. Even if you have a 4.0, congratulations. Mm-hmm. That's what you're supposed to do. You worked harder and you achieved a goal. Now you're on to college. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you have to do. You have to celebrate it. You shouldn't minimize it, and but be realistic. It's not like that was, 99 hurricanes or whatever it was, or 2001 hurricanes out there with Jonathan Vilma and all that. So you just got to say, okay, look, we beat them. Let's, so celebrate it, but then it's right back to work, and it has to be a demand. It's almost to the point when you have a young team and a young experience in winning, and you almost have to say, listen, no more Akron talk. Mm-hmm. Like literally starting tomorrow. You start talking about Akron, you're like, all right, you got to walk away. Yep. And that's drastic. But once you get right back into it, and it might be a point where you just kind of really, watch some of the highlights, teaching tape and going. I'm going to tell you one thing that really was impressive for me. Out there, I like that they played a lot of guys defensively early.
Yeah.
You kind of knew that was coming by what they were saying, but I'm telling you, little Dawson Merritt. Okay. Mm-hmm. He needs to, he needs to put some. I always say I got some weight left on from COVID. I wish I could just give him some, like Green Mile or something. But he can make some. He can play the position of linebacker better than majority of the incoming freshmen. The way he's able to dissect plays and play in space, and he doesn't show a lot of fear, was a really good to see early in the game and throughout the rest of the game.
There were a couple of those guys tonight, and that's something that Austin, DP, and I were talking about up in the press box. Was early on in the game, Nebraska was getting a lot of different defensive linemen, especially in the game. We saw different combinations, some that featured Elijah Judy, Gabe Moore, Williams Werneri, and Willis McGahee. Others that featured Riley Van Poppel instead of Judy. I mean, there were a ton of different combinations up front. But you mentioned some of the younger guys. How about Cade Petrick,
Yeah.
Rex Guthrie, I thought was really good in secondary and in coverage. And then, like you said, Dawson Merritt. There were a lot of guys that did stand out that you say, okay, going forward in games that do mean a little bit more or maybe are by tighter margins, they can go make a play.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were Friday Night Lights last year, and they're all true freshmen. I mean, you can throw T.J. Lateef in there and obviously Mose. That's a pretty good class right there where you think of the freshmen that are making impacts and are legitimate football players. And the reason why, I mean, I guess from my experience, I can look and see and know what it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as a young guy that knows how to play and doesn't stick out. And, for Dawson Merritt, I think, obviously his dad's obviously an NFL coach, so he's been in training camp. He's been around some really good players, but he has really good bend, really, really flexible, very, very good from point A to point B, plays bigger than he looks, and can cover up some eyesores. And then when you talk about a guy like Gabe Moore, who I think he might have been hurt, coming in from Mississippi State. Right away, he comes right in and start making plays. And so when you think that last week, we had some troubles, the depth was there. You're able to kind of play guys in different positions because you can also see how well guys can do things on the move or off the cuff. But then you can look at different combinations to potentially forecast what you might face later on in the year. Yes, Akron is nowhere near as good as Cincinnati. But ultimately, the more guys you got to play that got good reps, hard reps, I think it works out for the future.
Let's get one phone call in here before we go to break on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. We've got Peyton. Peyton, what's on your mind here?
It's actually Hayden. Just wanted to say huge win, go Big Red. And there's absolutely no way Jay Foreman's hair could afford another loss. So go Big Red.
There it is.
Man, what the heck? Who is this dude?
That's Peyton.
Is he one of your buddies?
He is not. I have no friends named Peyton.
He said
So
he said my hair couldn't take another loss.
No. It's well, I don't know if it was that or if it could have looked better and filled out better.
Yeah.
We have gotten a couple of compliments about your hair on the text line and on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream.
I appreciate that.
So they're used to seeing you in a hat, not tonight though.
Hey man, you look, I'm rocking this thing until we go all the way to the national championship. I'm gonna have dreads all the way down there, like whatever that cartoon movie was. But I'm gonna have some obviously coarse hair. But look, man, I think they were able to do what they needed to do. And it's something new. And then the young guys in there, they were able to get some plays and make some plays. And Dylan had a record, really, really good game for himself. And guys that needed to really get a boost there, and that business as usual.
Once again, 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the entire show today. Want to thank our sponsors for powering up the Jay Foreman Postgame show for an hour and a half after every single Husker football game. Our friends at Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Kreekak, State Farm Insurance, and Baumgars. Appreciate them for their support of us breaking down Husker football. Hopefully, a lot of victories here in 2025. All right, Jay, let's go ahead and take a break here. When we come back, we got Rule audio. Matt Rule got done speaking just a few moments ago. Also, Joe Morehead has had some interesting comments from his post-game press conference.
Oh, really?
Already?
Is he mad?
He's a little frustrated. I think he's a little bit embarrassed, judging by this couple of things that DP has been texting me, his quotes. And so there's been a couple of embarrassing quotes, or unfortunate quotes for Joe Morehead.
And after that, I want everybody to listen. Can we talk about T.J. Lateef?
There you go.
Send it away? The dead leg is back.
Mm-hmm.
When I find that video, I am putting that on the loop.
There you go.
Anyways, Jay Foreman Postgame Show. We'll take a quick break. Audio and comments. We'll be right back.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
It's Schaefer's Labor Day Savings Event. Take advantage of store-wide savings, interest-free financing, and special Labor Day cashback rebates. Save on all ultra-high-def TVs and audio systems while you explore the possibilities in our all-new Man Cave Electronics Gallery. From Samsung frame TVs to huge video walls and Atmos audio systems, Labor Day never looked and sounded so good. Hurry in for the Labor Day Savings Event going on now at Schaefer's, 48th and R. Lincoln.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42.
Stonebrook Exterior is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
Back to the Jay Foreman Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Baumgars, Anderson Ford, and Vinny Krekak of State Farm Insurance. Here are your hosts, Jay Foreman and Nick Sainer.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played pretty well last week. Really, it's most of the, I mean, it's just, it wasn't good enough. I mean, it wasn't, I'm always going to look for better. Like, I mean, I'm going to say, look at this, it's not good enough, but it's still, we were a pretty good football team last week. I think I'll watch the tape and just, I'll just try to do the same thing I did last week. Just look at the things that were good, look at the things that were bad. Obviously, first and goal inside the 5 and to not get it in is not good enough. To fumble the ball on the goal line is not good enough. But at the same time, we also came back with sort of a what's next attitude. I hated the fact that they were able to drive the ball before the half and have a chance at a field goal. I hated the fact they were able to drive the ball and start the second half. But credit to our guys. They came off and they blocked it. I love the intensity of our guys on the sideline, the Bufords demanding that we block it. So I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots and lots of things. And we're not here to comment on the overall. We're here to just keep fixing all the things that we see, and different things will come up. So, but I think a lot of in general, all three sides put it together. Pleased with that.
There you have it, Matt Rule, on just the overall performance. Still more to learn from this game, regardless. Like kind of something like you said, Jay, to where you just get right back into it, watch some tape, and kind of do the same thing that you did last week and just keep on building.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that. I mean, it's almost that faceless opponent mentality, right? You just got to look at, hey, look, we're grading this movie, and it's a 12 one chapter, I guess, mini series, or season series, and you got to grade it the same, no matter who you're going against. If you're supposed to, have a backside cutoff block, and however many steps and not cross over as a lineman, I'm grading you on it. It doesn't matter if you're playing Akron or Michigan or Michigan State or Northwestern. You got to get the job done, because I think the more that you consistently can critique a team fairly and objectively, obviously after big wins and whether you're trying to bring them back to reality or really confirm what they've been doing well for quite some time, the more that it can be rinse and repeat, and then you will have a faceless opponent type of mentality. Then you will start playing to a standard no matter what, and that's what he's really trying to say. Underneath the answer, the standard has got to be the standard, and that's what he's trying to set in place.
I thought we maybe saw a piece of that tonight, to where, we keep referring back to the Emmett Johnson fumble, and Emmett had an incredible game, right off the bat. 14 carries on the day, 140 yards, which is a career high. He had 117 rushing yards with 9.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, which was a career high. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Emmett Johnson. He also had one in the receiving game again. One thing that I thought we did see that, though, was where Emmett fumbles, and on the very next possession, through it all, right, where Mekhi Nelson and Isaiah Mosey maybe weren't relied upon last week. And at that point in the game, it was still just 9-0. We saw Nebraska pull Emmett Johnson for a drive and go to Mekhi Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, look, they said, we saw it was like was Anthony Grant and his struggles that kind of came out of nowhere. They don't. Coach Rule came here. He said we have got to eliminate the self-inflicted wounds, and it doesn't matter who you are. And you never know if they were, if that was already just kind of circumstance and the Emmett might have already been going out. But you know what? Either way, it's a teaching moment. Emmett's trying to get an extra yard, and it was a really good play by the Akron defender. You sometimes got to be a little bit more apprehensive in the red zone, because it's so tight. You're going to have arms and knees flying everywhere, when you're in like those close proximity in the piles. And so you have to maybe be a little bit more conservative, as far as fighting for an extra yard or when to spin, when not. I mean, these are the little things that they're probably harping on. But, look, you put another player in there, Mekhi Nelson, and he does well. And Mosey obviously did well. Ives did well. And then Emmett came back and kept the confidence and the belief and continued to put in work. I mean, you're going to – look, I can tell you, I got beat at times. I got shook, probably got my ankles broken, ran over. You got to get back up and, make up for it. And Emmett did that.
Here is Matt Rule on Emmett Johnson and his game tonight.
Yeah, the same thing to Emmett after he fumbled. Just said, hey, put the next back in. You're not going to fumble and play the next, go right back in. And so, but I thought we've, great job with Donnie and Danny continuing to go to it. We ran like the fake speed sweep, inside zone slice play that hit consistently. So we kept going back to it. I thought Emmett was excellent there. One of the things I loved about what Emmett did tonight that I saw, I don't like to comment too much on the football until I watch the tape, but most times when he breaks out, he looks to cut it back. And tonight you saw him trust his long speed and make long runs. And to me, that's his training. And I think I said to you guys, like, hey, I see a different back during training camp. And I think you saw a little bit of that tonight. You know, he fumbled. We put the other guys in as the ball got down near the goal line. I said, hey, put him back in. Like, you know, he just want to make sure he knows, like, we can't do that. And it's not the result. It's, you know, we go to 5 points of ball security. We go to the X factor. You know, again, I couldn't see how exactly it happened, but the ball was, you know, the ball was in his left arm. He started left, cut the ball back right. We want to go to 5 points and score. He didn't. Ball came out. But to his point, I was like, hey, what's next? Get back in there. And then after he scored later, he said, Coach, you know, what's next? So when the players start saying the things like that, then you know they're bought into it. Bad things are going to happen. How do you overcome adversity?
Just for context and for our listeners' sake, and also for me, when Matt Rule refers to 5 points, what is he talking about with Emmett Johnson ball carrying, that type of thing?
Yeah, the 5 points, if you remember back when Tom Coughlin took over the Giants and he pretty much revitalized Tiki Barber's career. Mm-hmm. He had a little bit of fumbling problem. Obviously, there's no comparison between him and Emmett as far as Emmett's not a fumbler of the football. But it's the 5 pressure points, and that's when you see when guys go across the goal line, they have it high and tight. You know, we used to call it high and tight.
Yeah.
It's just the 5 pressure points to secure the ball. It allows you to run through traffic with a lot more confidence, and it doesn't take like to the naked eye, seeing that when they have the ball up here, you know, you're like, oh, you can't run as fast. Mm-hmm. They still can run very fast. And so, you know, I think one of the things is that he was saying that Emmett was going left and cut back right, or going right, and he had the ball in the left hand and you cut back to the left. I know from one of the smartest football minds ever, not just my dad, but my grandmother. I did that once, and she told me. And I didn't fumble, but I did it. She's like, you always need to have she talked about the high and tight and have the ball on the outside hand. And when you go into contact, you cover the ball. And I think it was an honest mistake. And I like that, they took him out, but then also you don't put him on the, the milk carton per se, because I will tell you this, everybody likes to go back in the past. There's been coaches here in the past where when guys have made one mistake, you never saw them again.
Yeah.
And it's not just the effect on him. And sure, there are times it's needed. And there's been times I've been taken out. But everybody's watching how you handle that situation. Mm-hmm. So even though Emmett is, one of their more high-profile players, there's still people watching how you handle it with him. And so as long as you're consistent, then you have the credibility. And sometimes you got to do something that you don't want to do. And obviously they put him back in, and he was able to rebound from it.
Well, it's one of those things that if Jay, you're the starter and I'm third on the depth chart, right? And in a game like tonight where I see you fumble and you get pulled, or if you, whatever the situation may be, it's a realization that I'm making, saying that, okay, if the standard's like that for the starter, that's what it's going to be for me too. Yeah, it's not, there's no favoritism. There's no leniency because you're the starter or you're the guy. This is 100% even and consistent.
Yeah. It's not conditional. And in some cases, you remember about the Dallas Cowboys and all that stuff, where it's like if Emmett, Troy, and Michael Irvin going, they can be late to the plane. That's drastic. I think you can really, really hammer home that type of standard and mentality when you have 120 guys, and in particular, let's say your top 60 guys or 56 guys, right? Mm-hmm. They all have to prove themselves day in and day out. There's nobody on this roster that's completely arrived, and it's just like they just are just waiting for the college career to get over, and then they're going into being the number one pick in the NFL. We are not there, both individually and collectively. They're trying to work to get there. But the great thing about it, as everybody has something to prove on this team, as we said before, we said it last week as well, is that you can really, really set the standard and be very, very clear what the standard is and keep it the same moving forward.
Before we get to break, I want to tell you about our friends at Anderson Ford of Lincoln. Make sure you experience better with upfront market-based pricing at Anderson Auto Group of Lincoln, 27th and I-80 and 33rd and Yankee Hill. All right, so Jay, I want to pick your brain about the defense in the 11 p.m. hour. You and I will be here up until 11:30 before DP and Austin take over. So we can talk about the defense as at the top of the hour When we come back, though, I kind of want to dive into not only special teams, but the rest of the offense, the offensive line especially, because there were a lot of really good holes for the running backs as a group. Heinrich Harburg as well. I posted on Twitter. Heinrich Harburg came across on the first Emmett Johnson touchdown run and made a really, really nice block. He did that a couple of times for a guy that's making a transition to a new position. I kind of want to get your thoughts on that when we come back, my friend.
All right, man. That sounds good because I think that, diving those type of details is really good because you're going to need that here in next week or two. So Jay Foreman's post-game show, me and my man, Nick Sainert. Quick break, and we'll be right back.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
Stonebrook Exterior is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you've been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call to find out how Liberty Law can help you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Advanced Medical Imaging is hosting their 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk on October 11th at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Hear inspiring stories from survivors, enjoy local food truck vendors, a live DJ, and other family-friendly activities as we unite to bring awareness about breast cancer. Check-in begins at 8:30 a.m. with the walk starting at 9. Register your team today for Advanced Medical Imaging's 3rd annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk online at amimaging.com. Let's walk for those we've lost, for those still fighting, and for a future without breast cancer.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card. Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back to the Jay Foreman Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Baumgars, Anderson Ford, and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance. Here are your hosts, Jay Foreman and Nick Sainert.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Jay Foreman Postgame Show. We had a good fan that walked past.
That was an Akron fan that walked past.
And you're still in town. What?
He was still in town, still wearing the hoodie. I got to give him respect because he was still wearing the hoodie.
They were good fans. I saw a few, and they had a great time. I mean, you got to think. I mean, when you get on the plane, you kind of like Mickey Joseph going to Columbus. You're gonna get your head beat in. And the fans were, they fit in well. And so, look, they have a couple more hours before the bars close.
That's right.
There's no flights going back to Akron tonight. You should not be driving all the way back. So you know what? Just hang out here in Lincoln, enjoy the butt kicking that you just watched.
68-0 your final score. 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Cable channel 961. Post-game show sponsored by our friends at Baumgars. This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season and tools for your fall projects to get ready before winter. Get ready with Baumgars throughout Nebraska and in Lincoln at 56th and Cornhusker Highway. All right, Jay, we got a short segment here before we roll things over to the top of the hour. Let's talk offensive line, because there were a couple of instances where I felt like maybe they blocked really well, and then there were other instances where not so much. But ultimately, it never came back to hurt them. 68-0, the victory, obviously. But there were some pretty decent holes for Emmett Johnson and company.
Yeah, it's one of those good news, bad news things. Like, obviously, the bad news is that you don't want to get stopped on the 1 foot line, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and have a turnover on downs, right? You feel like you should be able to push Akron into the back of the end zone. The good thing is that there were some sizable holes. Look, I'm not saying we know we played Akron. We know we're better than them at 6:30. We know we should have done what we were supposed to do. The thing that I take out of when you see sizable holes like that is, number one, everybody is executing the blocking scheme effectively. More importantly, what a lot of people don't understand is, because I was obviously on the other side of this and played, the timing of the blocks is important as well. Because when the execution and timing is on time, then the running back's job becomes extremely easy, or a lot easier. And so that's where you saw all 4 of the running backs experience the same thing: execution. And maybe they saw something against that defensive front, or where they did something or exploited some sort of weakness they had in their defense, but they were able to execute it and have sizable holes. And then, more importantly, all of the running backs hit them. Sure, did they miss some? But they did not miss the layups, and that's the biggest thing that Matt Rule has talked about. We got to take the layups, and then obviously, make the analogy of 3-pointers when we need to.
Jordan from Wilbur on the text line 464-5685 says it was nice to finally show that they're much better than a team. Isaac on the text line, great dominance, reminds me of the dominance our team showed back in Jay's day. Remember when you brought that tip pass back for a pick six, Jay? Me and my dad were right there in that end zone corner. Go Big Red. Isaac in Lincoln. Now, you guys did it against nationally relevant teams, but this is a start, right? Yeah. For a program that's gotten away from where you guys were at, this is at least a step in the right direction. That's something you said in our pregame segment over at the Kindler Hotel. Was you mentioned it, like, big picture wise, at least show that the conversation after tonight's game is that, hey, that was a step in the right direction. That's progress. It's not where we want to end, but it's at least a step.
Yeah, no, by no means do you start the season and say, all right, our creme de la creme is beating Akron. And
I hope not.
And I hate saying that because they have coaches and family. Coaches have families and players that love football, but that's just not what you come to Nebraska for, is to beat Akron. This game, along with this season, ideally is a maturity season and an advancement season in the right direction. You don't get to where you want to at the end of this season by stubbing your toe and kind of slopping around against Akron, right? Maybe you learned your lesson against Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is a lot better than what people give them credit for. But either way, you had to face an opponent that you were better than. Everybody kind of forecasted and expected that emotional thing, expectations of the outcome, but you played to your standard, or trying to play to a standard. That's how you're able to get 68-0. We talked about it. You're completely right. At the Kindler on the pregame show, is that if you play to a standard, you will get the same points. And so you want to make sure you get to the points, or how you get there, which is more important, because that will lay the foundation for weeks to come and hopefully victories to come.
Before we get to the 11 o'clock hour, some scores from around the Big Ten. There's a couple of games still going on. Washington is ahead on UC Davis right now after one quarter of play, 14-13. There's a close game going on in Las Vegas. UCLA has the football with less than 90 seconds to play, trailing UNLV 30-23. On the plus side of the 50, they're sitting there at the UNLV 48-yard line, down by a touchdown. Some scores from earlier: Oregon put a whooping on Oklahoma State 69-3. Illinois won on the road at Duke 45-19. Iowa fell to Iowa State 16-13 in the game that College Game Day was at down in Norman. Oklahoma knocks off Michigan 24-13 at home. Those are some scores from around the Big Ten Conference. Jay, we've gone an entire hour here and not really mentioned the defense a whole lot. I want to get to that when we get back at the 11 o'clock hour. And want to say once again, I wanted to give you a full half hour on it. Vinny Kreekak, can't thank him enough. Protect yourself from the unexpected. Contact Vinny and his team for a personal price plan to take the guessing out of insurance. Call today, 402-474-1173. All right, Jay, take us to break. We got 30 minutes left in our coverage before we hand it off to DP in Austin.
Yeah, Jay Foreman Postgame show. We got 30 minutes left, and we're going to focus on the defense finally. Once again, we want to thank Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Kreekak, who Nick just mentioned, and Bumgars for the support. And then we're going to bring the heat for the next 30 minutes. Jay Foreman Postgame show. We'll be right back.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's. I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries with Texas toast. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup.
It's Schaefer's Labor Day Savings Event. Take advantage of store-wide savings, interest-free financing, and special Labor Day cashback rebates. Save on all ultra-high-def TVs and audio systems while you explore the possibilities in our all-new Man Cave Electronics Gallery. From Samsung frame TVs to huge video walls and Atmos audio systems, Labor Day never looked and sounded so good. Hurry in for the Labor Day Savings Event going on now at Schaefer's, 48th and R. Lincoln.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
From the capital to castles. Starting this December, fly nonstop from Lincoln to Orlando with service from Breeze Airways. That's right, nonstop flights to Orlando out of LNK are starting this December. You're now just a flight away from Disney World, Universal Studios, Legoland, and the Space Coast. Stretch out and relax on Breeze with complimentary family seating. Book your magical getaway now at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Experience an electric vehicle firsthand at LES's EV Ride and Drive, September 28th at the LES Operations Center. Registration is open now, but spots are limited. Visit les.com/drive to reserve your drive.
Back to the Jay Foreman Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Baumgars, Anderson Ford, and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. Here are your hosts, Jay Foreman and Nick Sainer.
We're back, Jay Foreman Postgame Show. Akron, beat down, demolishing, whatever you want to call it. Appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully we can talk to you your way home, considering the numerous places in Lincoln heading out, whether it's the north side or south side with the construction. But Nick set it up. Finally, we get to talk about the defense.
That's right.
The defense that had a safety.
That's right.
And we almost had the there he is.
That's the W.
The W. Jameis.
The W.
Jameis. That's Jameis Winston right
That's
there.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, you almost remember when the quarterback ran and then he got bumped back into the end zone. It reminded me of Mark Sanchez and the butt fumble.
Which I thought he reestablished. Now, to be fair, I thought he reestablished like his position and started going forward and just never crossed the goal line. I thought it could have been a safety the first time. But then, Jay, how far down on the list would it have taken you to say, okay, Jay, there's going to be a defensive lineman that makes a safety or makes the tackle in the end zone for a safety? How long would it have taken for me to tell you that it was Cade Petrock, excuse me?
Oof, it was not on the bingo card.
I think that shows. Now, it might look on the surface that I'm saying that in a negative way. I'm actually saying it in a positive way.
It actually is very positive because people don't realize. I think he's from. I think he's
South
South
Dakota.
Dakota.
That's correct.
People don't realize how highly recruited he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, committable offers from Miami and Oklahoma. And you got to think Jason Taylor is down there is about to put maybe the number one draft pick in the draft there with Mr. Bain. Mm-hmm. So they have a style, and Venables obviously knows what he's doing as well.
Sure.
And Nebraska was able to get him, and I think they developed him. I think he slowly but surely started turning heads. And I think when you have a young guy in a game like this, you play him. He didn't just get out there in the first series because they're playing Akron.
Yeah.
He got out there because he started to put in major work on the scout team. Then he probably got, a little bit of nuggets, with the, defensive starters or rotational players. And they probably was like, look, man, the kid might have just came from high school. Obviously, he plays with a good motor. He's big and strong enough. we got to put him in there. And then next thing you know, the first game that he really played, he gets a safety.
Nebraska shuts out an opponent for the first time since the 2009 Holiday Bowl when they played Arizona, won that game 33-0. But for the first time since 2009, the Holiday Bowl that was played at Qualcomm Stadium out in San Diego, Nebraska shuts out an opponent with their 68-0 victory here tonight. Let's first talk. We'll save the defense line because we've kind of dove into that a little bit here. Let's talk linebackers, your specialty, Jay Foreman. Once again, a lot of faces played, right? A lot of faces played. Some of them popped up. I thought guys like Willis McGahee showed up and showed out early as well, getting some pressure to the quarterback. There were a lot of opportunities for free rushers, free blitzes, right? It kind of just give us your lowdown on the linebacker.
McCullough made a couple plays. McGahee made, so it was good to see him make some plays. Emphatic tackle for loss. Gave him with the old suplex right there. That was almost like a power bomb. I like that. And then the conventional linebackers or stack linebackers, I think they did a good job as well. And that's everybody from Javen Wright to Shavers to the law firm, Watson Trent. Bauer made a play. Obviously, I talked with Dawson Merritt. I was very impressed with him. So I think they, whether you want to call it a bounce back week, I thought they all kind of flew around and made some plays. Defensively, especially at the second level, and base defense, and nickel. But I want to go a step further. It's Akron, right? So it's Akron. But I'm just going to talk in a football sense. And when we talked to this young man at Big Ten Media Days, Deshaun Singleton.
Yeah.
Okay. Was the kind of the eraser in the first game. Really made some good hard nose. I wouldn't call them game changing plays, but momentum changing plays for the defense. I'm talking about the break on the ball, driving through your opponent, breaking up a pass, making good solid tackles. Played with really good energy. I want to give him a shout out because, look, it's Akron and he took it serious as you should. And he stood out where he was coming up there and he's a factor. And also what people don't understand, he's playing a little bit different position this year. He's doing it for the betterment of the team. He's not fighting it. He's actually, excelling at it. So I want to give him a lot of credit.
This was a game where you look at the box score, Jay, and nobody's statistics are really going to jump off the page. I mean, Nebraska played, multiple guys defensively, so many. I mean, we're talking guys like Roger Gradney recorded a tackle, Tanner Church recorded a tackle. There were Sua Lefotu, Jordan Ochoa, Williams Winery obviously recorded a tackle. You mentioned Dawson Merritt as well. Larry Tarver, Maverick Noonan recorded a fumble recovery. When we talk about some of these guys, so defensively, Nebraska, their team high in tackles was 3, and there were 4 guys that were tied for 3 for the team high in tackles with 3. Singleton, like you mentioned, Cameron Lenhart, Rex Guthrie, and then Caden Petrak were the 4 players that had 3 tackles. A long list had 2, and then even more. A longer list had 1 tackle recorded this evening. It was a really balanced effort. Guys stepped up. And I thought that, once again, against a team that you have better athletes than, I thought the tackling was really good. And there were a lot of guys drive into the ball.
Yeah, there were the guys, they were flying around, and obviously the juices were flowing, and you started to, see some good things.
Yeah.
And obviously that, leads to, everybody trying to, get some and get after it. But I think they all the best defense. I think you just obviously you're playing individually, but you're all thinking collectively. So that's the byproduct of it. And I think the depth was on display. That's why I think you see the wide margin in 68-0. And that's offense, defense, and special teams. And then obviously, when you're trying to develop players, like Matt Rule says, he wants to develop everybody on the roster, playing well or playing in these games, but also playing well is a byproduct of that. You do not play well in any game, and particularly in a game like this, unless you go out there and do the things you need to do practice-wise. And there's one thing that I've learned, and I've seen it. I've never been on this side, but I've had teammates of some guys, and whether it's in the pros or high school, not really, in college, we had a, pretty good, pulse on each other. But in the pros where you're playing and maybe it's a practice or a scrimmage or a game and you're like, oh, like it's not that serious, right? Or we're better than them. And you go out there, and I've seen guys lay eggs, and it affects them not only in the present time, it affects them in the future because somebody else had done the things they needed to do to play well and started to eat into their playing time and eventually, catapulted themselves into the starting role. So again, it's maturity. That's what I like, maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Is it perfect? No. Is it going to go and I don't know who's the number one team right now.
Ohio State.
Okay, is that Ohio State that we played? Even though Akron's in Ohio, no. But you're not gonna get anywhere by having games that you don't perform. And so, there's plenty to teach on. There's plenty to move on from. It's early in the season. There's 10 more games. This is a long season, and like I said before, you do not come to Nebraska for your crowning moment to beat Akron 68-0. That's not what you're going to be back here, alumni weekend. Talking about, man, Nick, you remember that time we played that Akron team that, had a coach that was a good offensive mind and he got the job late and they hadn't scored a point all year? You remember that's not what you're thinking about. So you just want to make sure guys keep it in perspective, but then also, obviously recognize when they do well.
I just found this statistic. I'm surfing through the web and looking for nuggets from tonight's game. That guy's pumped up, excited for it. We'll switch it. If you're on this is where we'll remind folks, let you know, this is the time to watch the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. We get a lot of characters walking through and walking by. How about this statistic for you? And it's not defense related.
Brandon.
We'll get to Brandon in just a second. How about this statistic, though, this little nugget? Nebraska tonight, Ja'Cory Barney specifically, had 87 punt return yards tonight. Nebraska last season had 73.
There you go.
Nebraska just tonight had 14 more punt return yards just tonight than they did all of last season as a team. There's a step in the right direction, as we talked about. Let's go to Brandon on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Brandon's on the line. Brandon, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I just wanted to see if you guys noticed something. My son and I were noticing during the game. Probably something that won't be talked about too much with how good everybody played, but I thought this team showed a lot of discipline that we haven't seen in years past. We counted numerous times guys were running guys out of bounds without the extra shove at the end and getting after the quarterback without that extra shove at the end. It just showed a lot of discipline. I wondered if anybody else had noticed that.
Thanks, Brandon. Jay?
I didn't really notice it. I mean, I think, the coaching staff and obviously Coach Rule has, been well out in front and frank about the bonehead plays or the selfish plays and that have kind of always reared their head in the past and at the wrong time, right? A super late hit on a quarterback, palms up or something like that, or, a late hit out of bounds or a personal foul or some sort of, misconduct penalty. And so I'm sure it's something that if he sees it in practice, something's happening. Whether you're pulled out, you got to run or whatever the punishment is. And so, again, everybody's watching. They're watching and seeing and hearing, Matt Rule and staff talk about the blueprint. And then the players have to take that blueprint and make it theirs. But when you get outside of the foundation of blueprint that you don't want as a coach, then, you got to really lay down the discipline and make sure it doesn't happen not only, again, with that individual player, but in particular the rest of the team. And so, you have to be disciplined against a team that you're better than. And that's what really, Brandon, what that is, that's a standard. That's, discipline is another way of saying a standard, and the discipline is however you want to think about it. Some people use discipline as, really working hard, whether you want to or not. Discipline is not being the second guy that gets caught if you're getting shoved after a play. We've seen that in numerous times in the Chiefs games in particular. We saw it in high school football last night out at Seacrest. And so I think the standard that they're trying to live by and obviously play football by is hopefully raised, and they'll continue to raise it even higher.
Speaking of discipline here, Nebraska tonight, 6 penalties for 71 yards here tonight. Obviously last week against Cincinnati, 3 penalties recorded against Nebraska. In that game 6 tonight, however, so on the offensive side of the ball, 2 penalties. One, the holding call that came 4 seconds into the game at the 14:56 mark, and then another penalty in the early stages of the fourth quarter was when the second one offensively. Speaking of the defense specifically here, 4 penalties for 51 yards. There was a holding call, 2 pass interferences, and then a face mask that kind of withdrew the sack opportunity that Dasan McCullough had.
Yeah.
And that was an unfortunate one for Dasan because he got it. He slapped the face mask, and then on the replay, you could see he let go, but they obviously still ruled it as a face mask penalty. I thought the defense overall did a good job. There were some untimely penalties that they committed, right? And in these moments that they committed those penalties, the score was obviously a wider margin. It's easy to kind of have a mental lapse, commit a couple of mistakes, let them go down, score. They bent, but they never broke.
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's something that a teaching moment or, a coaching moment, you want to continue to push that standard defensively in particular. If you listen to us in any of our pregame shows, if you listen to us on Old School, you listen to on the few times I've been on the drive, you and AD have talked about it. I think throughout the whole station is right on point where we're saying every week for this defense, because you have so many new players and they have to build and gel and get that continuity, is you want to see week to week improvement. And the only way you can do that is that you got to have your clear non-negotiables. And then you go from there. Just like all interceptions aren't created equal, all pass interference calls aren't created equal.
Yeah.
If you're competing and you're just trying to go for the ball and somehow he decides, I'm going to call pass interference, you can live with that.
Yeah.
The things that I think that, you get away from or hopefully get away from in the pass interference is, the ball's overthrown and you push the guy down or you grab him like where it's no matter what you by the jersey. Those are the things that's why it's not all created, equal. Yes, there was some untimely, but I'll take the competitive ones because I want to build a competitive team, and then we teach you how to be more competitive and more strategic so it doesn't happen at the wrong time. I'd rather have to throttle you down than have to constantly poke poke the bear per se to get that throttle going.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the rest of the evening here. As a station, we'll be here till 1 a.m. Jay and I are going to get out of here in about 15 minutes or so before we hand things off to DP and Austin to take you for an additional hour and a half of post-game coverage as Nebraska knocks off Akron 68-0. Reminder, the post-game show sponsored by our friends at Anderson Ford of Lincoln, Vinny Krekak of State Farm Insurance, and Baumgars. Remember, protect yourself from the unexpected. Contact Vinny Krekak and his team for a personal price plan to take the guessing out of insurance. Call him today, 402-474-1173. Just a reminder, you can always watch the show on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961. All right, Jay, we have about 10 minutes left until you and I are out of here. Kind of walk me through, what are you looking for next Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff against Houston Christian? Similar storyline, I think, that Nebraska and we can talk about, to where it's a team you expect to beat by a pretty wide margin.
Right.
How do you go from this game where you took care of business, and I know you said, you have to flush it, stop talking about Akron, but then you now go into the next weekend where you expect the same result?
Well, it's like sometimes if you in golf you make a birdie, you got to validate it with a par the next week. You got to do the same thing. It's right back to work. The same amount of time you put in preparation, rehab, recovery, schoolwork, eating the right stuff, or hydration, all that has to be the same, and sometimes maybe even more when you play next week because you're playing early. The same attention to detail, the same intensity of the practice, the same coaching intensity, all that has to start tomorrow. You got to really look at the game, flush it. We're on the Houston Christian, because they could pose different problems than Akron, could have posed tonight. I haven't watched Houston Christian. I'm just going to assume Houston Christian is going to probably have a little bit better athletes out there at the skill positions than maybe Akron. But if they don't, you got to treat them all the same. I said it earlier in the post-game show or in the show, is that Nebraska, like us at Nebraska, but teams in general, there is no more you're going to turn off the throttle or turn off the gas. This is full gas. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said why is because you have so many guys on the team that need to play, and you have the 4-game rule for the red shirts. You have to play. It's like 2 separate games. Okay, we won that game into the third quarter. This is a whole new game when TJ Lateef, and company come in, and they have to play their game because I need to evaluate. You see,
I did.
We gotta evaluate them in a game-like situation, maybe with comparable opponents as far as skills and experience.
Yeah,
and see where we're at, because that's the only way I can help you and teach you, and then obviously mold you to get better.
Houston Christian, just for additional context, they are an FCS school. Just to remind everybody, they lost. They will be entering Memorial Stadium with a 1-1 record. They lost tonight to Eastern Kentucky on the road by a score of 20-10. Houston Christian might be coming in a little frustrated off of a loss. No, in all seriousness, though, when you look at next week with against Houston Christian, what is something offensively and defensively that you specifically want to see? Is there a guy you want to say, okay, build off of week 2 against Akron? What is it for you that you're sitting here before we watch the game again and stuff after, because we'll rewatch Akron versus Nebraska. But when it's kind of raw in your mind here, what is that for you offensively and defensively?
I think I want to see more growth. I want to see the offensive line to continue to, block well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have explosive runs. I want to see, holes in the running game to be where we can get those 6 to 8 yard runs. I want to see that. Then maybe a little bit more, expansion in the passing game. See Dane Key get off, because I think he's waiting for his opportunity to really show what he can do on a bigger scale. And then keep spreading the ball around. It's more of the same, but I'd like to see Dane Key get off. I'd like to see Emmett keep dominating, offensively, and then defensively. I'm going to be really interested to see what the rotation is now. Is it practice based or is it team based? Who you're playing, and then maybe if you start to see some more, see some guys or a combination of guys really, really gel, and that's in particular in the 3-man front, because I think they're pretty set with McCullough at the jack. The stack linebackers or conventional linebackers, their rotation is pretty good. It'll be interesting to see, because just like that, in a matter of a game, they played like 3 dudes that they didn't play last week.
Yeah,
and whether it's health or continued growth of them, you got to give them credit, and we'll see what happens next week.
There's a couple of things that we can definitely talk about, and we will dissect throughout the week here. We got about a minute left. One thing I will say is, while Dane Key we're waiting for him to get his fair share, you can sense that Dylan and Isaiah Hunter are going to have a pretty strong connection for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I think also a lot of eyes are on Dane Key.
Yeah.
So it's freeing up Hunter right now. Now it's going to go back, and then we're going to see who else steps up. Also, give it out to Archie. Was it Archie Bradley's family came?
Archie Wilson.
Archie Wilson. Excuse me.
Yes.
9,200 miles.
They're going to be here for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, but the son didn't get the
he didn't get the punt. How about that, Jay? All right,
on the
Jay.
right side of history.
We got 45 seconds left. Final thoughts, my friend.
Well, look, Nebraska did what you're supposed to do. You graduated high school. Now we got to see if you graduate college. Congratulations, and celebrate, and on to the next, and on to next week for us. Jay Foreman, post-game show. Appreciate you. Anderson Ford, Vinny Krikak, and Baumgars in the building. Less than 45 seconds. Defense leads the victory, and then also give TJ Lateef a little bit of credit for the dead leg of the century. We're out of here.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Stonebrook Exterior is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Shield, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer.
Mmm.
Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
Experience an electric vehicle firsthand at LES's EV Ride and Drive, September 28th at the LES Operations Center. Registration is open now, but spots are limited. Visit les.com/drive to reserve your drive.
Looking to upgrade your equipment and keep cash in your pocket? Through August at Landmark Implement, get up to a 24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines. Or lock in a 1.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by 6.2% interest fixed for up to another 36 months. When planning for this year's harvest, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your Landmark Implement today and check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Welcome to the Husker Afterparty Postgame Show.
2 tight ends in the game as well. Raiola with time. There's Nelson. He's got it, and he's into the end zone for the first time in his career. Touchdown, Nebraska.
The Husker Afterparty Postgame Show is brought to you by Anderson Ford, Baumgars, and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance.
Ramir Johnson in the game at running back. This is a flip to Ja'Cory Barney. He waits for his block, and he steps in for the touchdown. Second down, done, intercepted. Malcolm Hartzog is second of the year.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
After party vibes only in Lincoln. Nebraska 68. Akron Zips scored just that zip. Welcome to the Husker Afterparty post-game show. Austin Norman, DP, hanging out with you till the wee hours of the morning with you. Another hour and a half, 90 minutes of thoughts for Nebraska and Akron. Nearly, DP, a point per minute that we have remaining. 68 points for Nebraska. You, Nick, and I all watched it from high above Memorial Stadium, at least the vast majority of it. Before we get into many of the numbers, your initial reactions. Nebraska 68-0 win over Akron.
Great crowd response, great vibe, great feeling. Complete. Not perfect, complete. There's a difference in the way that you want to approach it. Give credit for all things that you can give credit for. Find coachable, teachable moments, but to simply say that if you drew this up any other way and said it ends up at 68-0, all heads to bed with a smile. It's deservedly so. They flashed all the things that we had question about. They fixed some things, they improved some things, and then in the end of it, they showed some things that we weren't sure about. So now we have the positive data to go along with the conversations that we've been talking about. 68 points against anybody. I don't care if it's the YMCA. That's impressive.
That exact train of thought is where I think we're going to take this post-game show. What did Nebraska show tonight that it didn't show last week? And what do we still maybe need to learn about this Nebraska team? We can get into that, but we have some stuff on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line because don't forget, it's not just our party. It's y'all's party. 402-464-5685. We will keep the Honda of Lincoln hotline open for you on your drive.
For as long as they're active. When they go to sleep, we go home.
That's how it works.
So I'm just telling you, we listen, we see O Street. We see y'all. We see you in the cars. We see you walking up down the street. As long as you're active, hit us with a WhatsApp. Let us know you're out here and you want us to you want to hang with us. The moment y'all go to sleep, it's like cable TV. Are you good? Boop. It'll go to sleep.
I am not expecting calls from John B. in Lincoln or Matt R.
No.
Brady in Boulder Ridge, if you're with us, would love to see if you're Matter in a Hornet this week. Hornet. So, again, you have number 402-464-5685. Maybe you're shy. You just want to text in. That is okay, too. You can provide us with your insights on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, same digits for you, as well as on stream. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter up and running.
Let's get the YouTube folks in the party, too, because Jim and Carl and the folks over there, we see y'all. We recognize and appreciate that you're hanging out with Jordan. We see you as well.
As always.
In this space. So we are all over. Steve Dean was over there. Okay. All right. Waffles was on there. Well done. Okay. So we will acknowledge y'all. Just again, as long as you let us know you're out in the party, let the party keep going.
All right. Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. You will start this party off here on the after party. Jim, did Nebraska have more punt return yards tonight than they did all of last season? Yes, indeed, they did. 87 punt return yards for Ja'Cory Barney Jr. himself tonight. 73 punt return yards in 13 games for Nebraska last season. Certainly notable. We saw one of the first punts of the game, DP. Akron punted it the wrong way. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. took advantage of it for 23 yards, had a 39-yarder, and was one shoestring / ankle tackle away from probably having another 30-yarder on his ledger just in the punt return game tonight.
Yeah, the note from Keith Mann was the 4 punt returns for the work that was being done. One, the 39-yarder was the longest since J.D. Spielman in 2019. And then the total return yards was the most since our own dude, DeMornay Pearsonell, who, by the way, will be back night starting Monday.
Hello.
So you will be able to, we will bring him back here to talk about it. Yes,
Did I do it right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I allowed to do that? As a DPE fan, can I do that?
No, but we will give you the pass because you were celebrating. Also, breaking news on that. You know who else comes back on the nighttime?
Tell him.
Chris Raff.
Chris
Raff.
Bronco,
the Raff Roadies unite, raise up. It'll be DeMornay, from 8 to 9, Chris Raff from 9 to 10, and then DP late night until 12 midnight, plus the student athletes along the way. So it is going to be, let's fire this bad boy up.
Woo! Football season is back. That's how you can tell. Raff DP back in the fold, excited for that. Jordan from Wilbur. Is this the first shutout since 2009 Louisiana Lafayette? No. It is the first shutout since 2009 Arizona. In the 2009 Holiday Bowl. That game, of course, infamous for being Bo Pelini's Nebraska's back and we're here to stay moment.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the we're back, folks?
Oh, they crack me up every time. If you have to say you're back, you're not back.
Yeah, I mean, is that like jinx? Is that like if you say Beetlejuice 3 times? If that's like if you say Candyman, you're the opposite. Like you're really not back.
I won't go so far as to say jinx. I will go so far as to say hasty and braggadocious. Because if you say we're back, you still have the opportunity to back it up. You know, until you don't back it up, but you'll know you're back when you win a game of importance. And you stack not just games on top of games, but years on top of years as a program.
But do we know what those qualified games are? Do we know which ones will resonate enough and count enough to go, okay, we're back?
I'll tell you the Pinstripe Bowl ain't it.
Okay.
Other than that, I think, again, it's you know it when you see it. You know it when you feel it.
Well, I wanted to say that we get questions answered. Consistency matters. Follow-up matters. Adjustments, growth matters. Can you take the lessons from a week ago, not repeat the same mistakes that you repeated a week ago? Getting added value on punt returns. That's been a thing. We've been thinking about that. Explosive plays. Had a bunch. Bunch of explosive plays, and you got to see backup players make plays in the way that we've been sold that they can make plays, right? So you saw those. You saw Dylan's consistency. You saw the offensive line protect and run block. Listen, they created some space tonight. We saw defensively. There were 2 first downs passing for Akron. 2 all night. All night, there were 2. I think you have to say, okay, tackling. They got the zips to the ground.
DP, how many tackles did Nebraska's leading tackler have tonight?
3.
Nebraska had 4 players.
Tied with
3.
3 unassisted, and then some
12 guys had 2 tackles, and a bunch had 1.
Well, 1 there was no burden, right? There you didn't have the burden. We put him on the screen. See,
my man Kalen. That's my man Kalen.
But this is why you get. This is why you have to have the street cam up tonight. On we can go split screen with the street cam. I think that would be a fair thing.
We'll see what we can do on that.
Right. I think we should be able to pull that off.
When people walk by, I'll do my best to switch it over.
Well, no, we can put it up because I mean, look, I'm not.
I got to take time to get both of us in frame.
I'm not that pretty. I don't need to be on the screen. I'm cool. If it's just Austin and the street people, I'm cool. Here's my thing. I think if when you're spread out that way, one, you identified roles, responsibilities, and you did your job. Nobody was under attack, and quite frankly, Coach Morehead said the thing that we need to pay attention to. There were 2 different levels of football going on. And all that was asked was that you make the play that was in front of you. When the play came to you, we always say in coaching, don't look for work, work's coming. And then when work shows up, get your job done. That's what happened tonight.
To the text line we go. Let's hit up Corey here. It says, first of all, TJ Lateef has more passing yards in 2 series than Iowa's quarterback does in 2 games. Tonight is a night about Nebraska, so we'll focus on TJ Lateef.
Every night's for punching Iowa.
Except that Iowa State also beat Iowa in a tight one. Mark Gronowski, in 8 quarters of action, has 127 passing yards. TJ Lateef has 3 drives under his belt as a Nebraska Cornhusker, has led 3 touchdown drives, and has passed for more yards.
Yeah,
Take that corn and shuck it, Iowa.
I mean, I think in this, and again, more data is better than just data. He did what we hoped he would do, and we give him full credit for it. Playmaker, looked like an authentic playmaker. He wasn't outside of his game. It didn't like he was forcing anything.
Mm-hmm.
He made solid decisions with the ball. He made solid decisions to pull it down and get work done. He led he got him in and out of the huddle, got him into formation, called adjustments along the way. So those were all things that were in play. I love the fact that they got they went through 3 quarterbacks.
And their starter had the lowest completion percentage.
Yeah, I mean, to know what you do, well, at that point, I mean, that's literally the adjustment that should happen in game, is that you now know what works and what doesn't work. And when you go to your backup players, it should be, I'm going to put them in the best position for success. What do I have in my playbook that will work? And quite frankly, they had been sitting there over there consuming data too, right? So to know, listen, if I accept the layup, I'm going to be good. Take the layup. You never go broke taking a game. I love that for him.
On the quarterback position, we got this note over the press box speaker, just worth shouting out. Dylan Raiola, new school record for consecutive completions. He did it across 2 games, completed his final 11 passes against Cincinnati, his first 9 against Akron tonight, 20 consecutive completions for Dylan Raiola, breaking Dave Hum's record from the 1974 Nebraska-Kansas game. On a former quarterback, Corey wants to know, any thoughts on how well Heinrich Haarberg did blocking tonight? I felt I saw him several times getting to the right spot and or holding his blocks better, helping create some big chunk plays. Was that a product of playing Akron, or did he get better from week 1 to week 2, DP?
Well, I mean, he got better because he was in the right place. So there's a thing about especially in a new situation for you, knowing what your target is, getting there on time and in place. Being at the right place is one thing. Being on time is another thing, because Haarberg is looking at it. He's normally used to looking at it from behind center. Now you've got to actually pace it. You've got to get there when your running back expects you to be there. You've got to get there when your quarterback expects you to be there. And that is always different. And that changes from game to game. That changes from series to series. So give him credit for being in the right place, understanding what's being asked of him. And I think you have to figure out how much lead you have in the pencil, right? This is new. Tight end is new, and it's different. Now, it'll get different again when you get into Big Ten play, because those are different dudes you're shooting down on the edge. But it's also, hey, a bigger target, more disciplined defenders on the edge in the Big Ten. They know where they're supposed to be. They know they're supposed to lock up and resist. They're not going to run from him, but he's going to have to run through them. And that's the thing. Give him credit for being in the right place on time tonight. I still want him to be more explosive, but I would imagine he thinks that too.
Heinrich Haarberg was the one that sprung Emmett Johnson on that first long touchdown. He had that kick out block. Emmett Johnson cut it back right through that lane and then outran the guy with the bad angle. So shout out Heinrich Haarberg for that. Let's go ahead and spill a little bit of Kool-Aid here. Brad says Nebraska still can't get a sack without a blitz. Nebraska's first sack of the year. Cash your Ashton Murphy first sack of the year ticket. If you had it, if you did, let me know where you keep your crystal balls. I would love to see it. Nebraska took, what would that be? Let me do some quick math. 120 minus 5, 115 minutes to get its first sack of the season, but they do it. Despite that, DP, 175 total yards allowed to the Zips. Ben Finley never looked comfortable. He did, though, end the game with more yards than his completion percentage, which was something we were tracking there for a while.
Yeah, we were looking at those numbers and seeing, oh my goodness, does this work? Right? Does this really work? I'm this way on pressure is one thing. Being a defensive nuisance is almost as more important than getting home. I need to get their quarterback out of rhythm. And the way I know he's out of rhythm is when I look at his completion percentage, batted balls, pressure sacks. When you watch defensive backs always get there on time, that means the pressure. Because if they're getting there early, it's a penalty. If they're getting there late, it's a completion. It's the perfect timing. That means you got in the quarterback's way enough. You dirtied up a throwing window. You made him uncomfortable with his footwork, right? He couldn't step into it. It's almost like, a shortstop trying to turn a double play. sometimes the nuisance of the runner is way more important than the speed of the guy getting out of the box.
Is he going to hit me is almost as important as did he hit
It is to change the pace and space of it all. I like the way they defend it. Listen, they got 2 first downs throwing the ball, as I said. Yeah, there were some penalties thrown in there because they got there early. But that sort of aggression is the style of play that we want from this defensive team.
Well, at the very least, it's what we were told to expect from John Butler's mouth.
Well, what I would say is, would you rather have a higher completion percentage against and more points put on the board, or have 2 weeks where, quite frankly, you gave up two touchdowns in 8 quarters of play? I think your scheme is right. I think you're moving right. I think you're doing your thing in place. I think you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. And you have to remember, take the greater win. The bigger win is the win itself, and then the shutout, and then, oh, by the way, you're getting people in the ball game and people are making plays.
That you are. Don't forget, if you're walking by 1040 O Street, you can indeed see yourself on the TVs as you walk by. We got fan cam up. You keep walking by, we'll keep popping you up there. Deshaun McCullough could have had Nebraska's first sack of the year, negated by what we thought was going to be a roughing the passer penalty. Turns out his hand was in the face mask. The penalties were really what kickstarted a couple of Akron's biggest drives, DP. But you look at how those drives ended up. The first one right before halftime, I called it a sad field goal on Twitter, and that's what it was. They go through with the warm-up kick. Dude misses it way left. Think it's the real deal. Doinks it off the upright. Just kind of the exact night it was. Joe Morehead said as much in the first line of his press conference. This was a butt-kicking in every facet.
Yeah, of epic proportions.
Epic proportions.
He said there were 2 levels of football being played out there, that he knew that Nebraska was talented in all 3 facets of the game. Generally in those situations where the point spread is so wide, it requires that the favorite team hurts themselves and the underdog plays well above itself. He goes, neither happened. He's been on both sides of those. He did not like the taste of tonight's game.
Not many coaches would. On the flip side for Nebraska, we'll answer this from Drumstick. How many players played tonight? Was it all of them? It was most of them. And for a lot of fans, DP, that was the point. They wanted to see that the second teamers get some run, third stringers get their moment at the end of the game. Not only did the backups get in, DP, there were a lot of second and third string guys that had some legitimate success. You know, throw the opponent out the window. For guys that haven't played live speed college football to get in and taste success in their first real significant action since high school, that's not nothing. Mission accomplished in that facet tonight as well.
Well, they give the participation numbers out, and you try not to pay that much attention to it, only because you can miss some, right? And you miss the point sometimes that, well, you got in the game. Were you able to contribute, participate, maybe execute a play? As a quarterback, if you get in the game and just take a snap and hand the ball off, that's still a win, because you need to get the people in and out of the huddle. You need to get to the line of scrimmage. You need to get the play off on time and be on time with whatever's required of it. I'm fascinated through all of this that there were players making what looked like explosive plays where we had to check what the number was. There were players who made outstanding defensive plays where we went, well, wait a minute, I didn't know
who that.
I didn't know new phone. Like, new phone, who this? You had to look at the jersey numbers and go, well, wait a minute, that looks like a kid that can make a play, because he just did. And so as you try to see it, pay attention to those things. It was that kind of night to be able to see, we see you out there. We see you out there.
Do your thing.
We see you out there. Yeah, we go get you up. You know, this is see, Austin, this is what
it's popping up. It's 7 seconds behind on our
right.
TV.
It's a 7-second delay. We're going to get you up there.
Just a sec.
There you go, bro. We got you.
Live your best life, young man. Live your best life.
We got you. We got you up there. See that?
They're loving it. Why we do what we do.
Well, this is why you have to explain to people that the beauty of this thing in place, right? That to have them celebrate.
And they'll be here all night if we let them.
Well, but but Austin, let me explain. This was the whole reason behind this, right? This madness, right? This whole madness was to put this camera here so that we can capture the real vibe of Nebraska Husker Nation. And to have that capability, who else is willing to do that for folks, right?
What would Jim Harbaugh say? Nobody.
And so to be able to go, right, he's going to try to, he's got to understand the camera. Like, we got to understand the camera. He will find himself in 3, 2, 1. There we go. It's you understand the we should put a sign on there that says stop moment. Stop, count 7 seconds, and then smile. Right? Because that's really what it's coming. But here's the other thing, Austin. This is a different post game that we're having tonight.
Wild.
Like, this is a different one that in a late night. Now, I fully imagine that next week, right? Daytime hours, you get to extend it. We get to open the door, right? You don't have to worry about the nightlife and who wants to boogie. But then for Michigan, it's the afternoon version of it where you get to say to people, hey, come on down, be a part of the postgame show. That's the mission, is to have you be a part of the postgame show, a part of the text line. Like, get your text in. We'll spend quality time reading them, and then be a part of this, because we know how we feel. Mm-hmm. We watch the game together.
But we have Nick and Jay to talk about how we feel. We have the after party to talk about how y'all feel.
Yeah,
we hope it's a party. We hope it's a party atmosphere. We really appreciate all our sponsors helping make it a party. First and foremost, Anderson Ford of Lincoln. Experience better with upfront market-based pricing at Anderson Auto Group of Lincoln. 2 locations here, 27th and I-80, 33rd and Yankee Hill. Back to our starter, Heyman Jewelers text line we go. On that theme of guys whose numbers you might have had to look up, DP Husker legacy Quinn Clark gets his first touchdown. Nice pitch and catch with yards after the catch for Quinn Clark. Breaks a tackle, throws up the 32 in honor of his dad, Ken Clark. Pretty cool moment for him, the Husker legacy. Luke Lindenmeyer gets his first Husker touchdown. Makai Nelson
wasn't even the highlight of his night.
It was not. It was for a moment.
That wasn't even the highlight of his night. There you go, brother. We see you one, baby. Come back, run it back. That wasn't even the highlight of Luke's night.
It was not.
The young man got engaged tonight.
Congrats, 44.
And attaboy, Luke. Attaboy. To do that. Look, there's special moments in this thing. And we get to ride this thing through and say, listen, the beauty of being a part of what's going on. We are part of what's going on. Look, see, he figured out the dance moves. He's got the dance move ready. There he is.
Did you notice my countdown? I nailed the timing.
Right. You got it right. You absolutely got it right. Listen, to find out, we've been tracking the Lindenmeyer journey, and he came in and told the story and said, listen, there's stuff that people don't understand. I had Coach Ron Brown tell me in April, circle number 44, because he's going to be a playmaker and a leader for us. And I was almost caught off guard because, again, the stories you're told versus the things that you see and hear. And he was absolutely leading the way. He was letting you know.
Bonafide Big Ten tight end 1.
There are things going on in Husker football. When the good things happen and you tell us, we can share. When it happens, there we go. She got the bones right. It's beautiful because he's a good young man and from a great family. His parents have been active in telling his story. Now coaches are highlighting him, and now the fans have caught on. Outstanding for young Mr. Clark, and that's a heck of a play he made. First of all, so give credit to that.
That's the yards after catch Dana Holgerson was talking about. Can't go down on first contact. Got to find ways to fight through it. Quinn Clark sure did. Isaiah Mosey did. Makai Nelson had his moments.
We understand it now. Like, we've been here about it, and we were kind of giving the side eye. Like, yeah, sure.
We know you want to see
like,
it, but
we need to get these guys on the field. You sure? You sure? You need to get them on the field because, we need to see something. And then we see something. And you go, okay, data, thank you. And now you give credit to the coaches who have been whispering these positive things because they show up in full. And again, on a 68-0 night, listen, I go ahead. We will applaud you.
That's the sort of thing we are going to highlight coming up here throughout the night. A couple more texts to get to, and then we will take our first break. We'll be with you for another full hour. Don't worry, hanging out with you deep into Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
Mississippi Mud Dog, DP, think you could make the 30-yard field goal for the cash?
Yes. Yes.
Would you do it in style like the guy in Missouri, Kansas?
No. No.
Legendary.
No.
Legendary stuff
I'm not
for
sure.
Field.
That is the greatest troll of all the trolls I've ever seen and heard about, that somebody would go through and say, I could win cash money, but I would much rather just troll
the rival.
Like,
let's set the stage for this.
Yeah.
Dude is an amputee, gets a chance to kick a field goal, 45-yarder, which is 15 yards further, I believe, than Nebraska's field goal.
Yes, sir.
45-yard field goal for his shot at $25,000.
Yes.
Whether that goes to paying for college, a new car, get something nice for the lady at home, do something nice for mom and dad, just to pay the bills, whatever it is. $25,000 on the table for you for a 45-yard kick. This dude says, you know what? Angel on my right shoulder, I ain't listening to you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear a shirt underneath my shirt with FKU. I'm going to flash it to the Thoreau Field crowd. When I take my run up, I'm going to change my angle. I'm going to kick this ball as hard as I can at the Kansas sideline.
And maybe he knew that he couldn't make the 45-yarder. Maybe, right? Like, okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Like, I can either stand here and look like an absolute moron, or
I can be a legend.
I can be a legend. I guarantee you, this dude drank for free, ate for free.
And will.
Right?
In
Like,
perpetuity.
there are people that is going to code this guy as a hero for as long as we can possibly imagine, and just say, listen, well done, sir. Well done.
We'll wrap this hour up with this, DP, from Crowbait. I really want to come hang out downtown sometime. Pre-game, post-game, whatever. I just don't do downtown. That's on me. Well, Crowbait, why don't you do downtown? We're down here. Come on.
We're not asking you to do downtown. We're asking you to do the ticket.
There's a difference.
There's a difference between having a plan and a reason to come down here and just fist bump, high five, and have a cup of coffee. And I think there's value in that. Like, don't get
beer. Mill serves beer.
Right. Well, beer and wine, right? If there's a thing, you come down and you want muffins, you can do that. We got breakfast burritos, and often there's other food here in the building that people have looked out for us. As a matter of fact, Crowbait, bring some food, bring some lunch. You'll be more than welcome down here.
That you will. More than welcome to keep the party rolling with us here on the Husker Afterparty postgame show. Nebraska 68. Akron 0. We'll take our first break. Whole another hour of your comments, your questions, your reaction. If you don't want to hear from you, you'll hear from us. 402-464-5685. Taking your thoughts another hour or so next on the Husker Afterparty show on the ticket.
Stonebrook Exterior is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford of Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's one of the best decisions we ever made, having Bryant install a new water softener. Now our glasses and dishes are crystal clean. We save by using less detergents and softeners, but our clothes and towels will look better and feel softer. For a quality softener system without the hassle of arm-twisting contracts, I suggest choosing Bryant. Call 467-1111 or visit BryantLincoln.com to schedule a free estimate and soften up with Bryant. At Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, we do whatever it takes.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. Welcome back to the Husker Afterparty Postgame Show. The Husker Afterparty Postgame Show is brought to you by Anderson Ford, Baumgars, and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along into the first hour of your Sunday. Victory Sunday for Nebraska. May your NFL team begin the season with a win, unless you are Jake Sorensen and the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it
nothing personal except everything.
You know what? I do get a moment. Because it's actually today.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12:01.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happens on this station in 12 hours?
DC.
Man! Ma!
Did I do that right?
DC. DC. I'll ask you how you would feel, right? You get that. You get this all the time because your teams are always on the ticket.
Oh, Colts not so much.
They get a couple of games this year. Will you listen differently when your team's on the ticket?
Depends on who it's against. Because there's certainly those games with the Colts that I'm going to just run for cover.
That is hilarious.
There are those games that I shouldn't have to run for cover that I'll end up with my head in my hands.
That is hilarious because it is the thing, right? You would say that Washington is on the ticket. The Commanders are on the ticket. And I have friends that tomorrow, in full tribute to that, are actually going to get on the app and listen to, they want to know, what do we do? Like, how do we find this? And I'm like, well, we actually could put it on the app tomorrow. I said, we can't always do it. But there are times that we can. Think Thursday night, like next Thursday.
Like
next Thursday.
5 days from now, 4 days from now, whatever that would be.
When they're playing on Thursday night, we can pop that on the stream and on the app. And and I just, they're like, listen, in full support, we want to support you. So if you tell me that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. So bravo.
Anthony, we see you on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line. Before we get to you, some more just stats, numbers, history notes for Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
First time with 700 yards in a game since Florida Atlantic in 2014. 55-7 Husker win. First individual 300-yard passing game since Purdue in 2022. Dylan Raiola has a career night, his first career 300-yard passing game. He goes for 364. bettering Casey Thompson's 354 against Purdue. First 400-yard team passing game since Wisconsin in 2018. Adrian Martinez had 384 yards of that, just 6 yards shy of the first 500-yard passing game since Kansas State in 2007. Most points Nebraska has scored since Idaho State in 2012. That's the last time Huskers ran up 60-plus in a 73-7 win back. Then second consecutive season with a safety. Did that in week 1 against UTEP last year, and second straight season with a blocked field goal. Ty Robinson did it week 2 against Colorado last year, DP.
So we've transitioned from the full doubt phase, right? The full show me phase to, okay, now can we start to dream? And then you look at Houston Christian, right? Formerly Houston Baptist. I had to give that one because they yelled at me because earlier in the week I was like, really, this is what we're doing. And then if a stellar performance happens against Houston Christian, then we start to have different conversations, different expectations, different dreams, different potential, different possibilities, right? Like, oh, and you mentioned Dylan, that at averaging 300 yards a game and shooting at 75+% and 6 touchdowns and no interceptions. And if he can put together another one of those, here comes Michigan and hype. But it's reverse hype because it's Nebraska hype.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan will come into this thing with, knock on wood, a worse record than the Huskers. They already have a loss. They already have a loss.
You know where you heard that loss?
Hey, sir.
Right here, 93.7.
Sir, I rather enjoyed that. Listen, thank you, Oklahoma. Dear old friend.
Dear old frenemy.
Dear old friend. And here's the other part. Michigan hasn't looked good. Like, that was not a good look. They had Underwood struggled, right? But we understand young quarterback struggles. They struggled with quick release Mateer. They struggled on the perimeter, handling some of the athletes. They also were weak down the middle defensively. So, hey, Michigan, it'll be interesting. Husker fans, what happens if they have another good week next week? More Kool-Aid?
Woo!
More Kool-Aid.
It's flowing.
Okay.
It's flowing.
Okay. I'm prepared. I'm just preparing myself.
To our starter Heyman Jewelers text line we go. 402-464-5685. Be part of the conversation all night long with your texts or your calls. Anthony says, best takeaway for me was seeing Nebraska pull Emmett Johnson right after his fumble. Rule seems serious about upholding a standard. Good on Emmett understanding that and coming back in with bad intentions.
Yeah, it is a full. We'll get you up there.
Just a sec. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
3,
hold on.
2.
We're gonna.
See, there you go.
We go.
Yeah, we got you. We got you, folks. Don't worry.
You go.
Don't worry.
Well done. We got you. This is the beauty of again. This is what this is for, is to celebrate, and to think that over the course of the last several years, there hadn't been much to celebrate. There haven't been. I can't think of any game that was as an impressive a win. Maybe Colorado last year because it was Colorado hype.
56-7 over Northwestern.
Didn't do it though. Didn't feel like this. And I don't know why it didn't feel like this. Maybe because we were already in mud. Like, we were in quicksand. So we got a respite, right? Somebody threw us a stick and handed us a stick and pulled us out of it. But it didn't feel like we were celebrating in full. So that is a different vibe that's going on.
We need to thank Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance. Protect yourself from the unexpected. Contact Vinny and his team for a personal price plan to take the guessing out of insurance. Call today, 402-474-1173. 3. Yeah, DP.
Shout out to Rudy back there.
How about it?
You know,
Hold it
we
down.
look. I'm going to shout out the young man out here working in the wee hours of the evening. Rudy, we see you, bro. We see you. You are appreciated.
Indeed, always and forever love our guy Rudy, Nebraska Wesleyan's finest. Which Mud Dog said, hey, maybe we can get Akron, Mississippi, or Akron and Nebraska Wesleyan tomorrow.
We things are happening. I'm waiting for the athletic director at Wesleyan to get off his horse and get into the ticket. Yep. Just like I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on you, but I'm waiting on you.
We're here.
Hey, look. Nothing would give me greater joy than this spring to have Nick Sanders' voice calling one of Rudy's games at Wesleyan.
Rudy had a banger of a tweet tonight. He said, sometimes I feel bad about taking my 5th year of eligibility, and then I hear about 7th year seniors making tackles, and I'm cool with it.
Yeah, no, listen.
Do your thing, Rudy. Come on, man.
You
Do your thing.
Get as many freshmen as you can get. Take the fastballs, teach them lessons. Man, it's a thing that has to happen. It is the win. Look, if I had a 5th year, I sure would have took it. Promise you. I promise you I would have took that 5th year and not felt bad about it at all. At all. Even without NIL, I would have taken, because the way I left, I would give anything for one more at bat.
Wouldn't we all?
One more at bat, bro. And I don't care who it was against. I don't care who it was against. So bravo to that. Listen, to watch this one, it was good to see Matt Rule flushed. A level of stress was removed from his presentation tonight. To watch the players with their back straight a little bit, right? Some of the burden removed, some of the doubt removed. And here's the thing about the Power 4 football. Only performing well can make you feel absolutely comfortable, right? To know, oh my goodness, all the work we're putting in actually shows up on game day. And because it hadn't shown up. And now all the work for Dylan, right? Folks who are online, they were talking about, well, man, a lot of the Arch Manning haters are quiet. They should be. They should be. Because you jumped on. You jumped on. There are some questions. Nebraska answered a lot of them tonight. They answered a lot of questions.
Let's start with some of those questions that it seems like Nebraska answered, or even if they're not a full answer for you Husker fans and you're sipping the Kool-Aid, if not chugging it. What did we see from Nebraska this week that we didn't see last week? First and foremost, DP explosive plays. That was a talking point throughout the week. Fueled by yards after the catch. I think that was a pretty major part of Dylan Raiola's first 300-yard passing game in college. Nebraska ends the night with, of its 400 and I get the number right here, 494 passing yards, 262 of them credited as being after the catch. That's pretty darn impressive. Long catches of 15, 18, 22, 36, 37, 39, 39, and 41 yards. And I found this coming through the stat broadcast. Nebraska gained exactly half of its 728 total yards on 13 pass plays that covered 15 yards or more. If you add the rushing explosives on top of that, 5 of them for 136 yards on 18 plays, Nebraska gained 500 of its 728 total yards. Did not see that last week against Cincinnati. Step in the right direction for the Huskers tonight.
Yeah, and I think some of that you put on the shoulders of Akron. Some of that you give credit to Dylan and putting his pass catchers in a better position. It's the thing we've talked about in throw me open. Throw me open. I want to be, as a receiver, I want to be able to trust that if you throw me on the slant and you throw me a step away from where I am, that's literally you telling me I need to take that step to get away from a defender, or don't throw me into a defender. Don't throw me into traffic, right? We're sitting on O Street. Don't throw me into the middle of the street. Throw me to a corner. Throw me in between cars. Throw me in a safe place so that I can do damage. And then it means that the receivers are trusting the quarterbacks, And then it also means that they're aware, because then after the catch, rules of engagement are change your level and location immediately. Immediately. Catch, tuck, change level. So if I am at the 42-yard line, I need to get to the 43 quickly. And then the location. If I'm inside the hash, get to the outside. If I'm outside the hash, get inside or get vertical quickly. And that's what happened yards after catch. That's what Nebraska did big time.
Rolling through some of those numbers, Ja'Cory Barney Jr. led the way, 7 catches, 132 yards, 57 of it after the catch. And Isaiah Hunter, 4 for 82, 39 of it after the catch. Isaiah Mosey, 3 catches, 65 yards, long of 39, 55 of it after the catch. He showed off some nifty footwork, some nifty moves. Mekhi Nelson out of the backfield wasn't incredible, but 3 catches, 52 yards, including nice little dead leg on that 41-yarder. Showed what the coaches were looking at there. Luke Lindenmeyer, 14 yards after the catch. Quinn Clark had that 1 catch for 37 yards for the touchdown. 20 of it, more than half of it, came after the catch for him. Those are the big numbers in terms of yards after catch. DP, you see what Nebraska was excited about with those 2 backup running backs who didn't necessarily answer the question of where will Nebraska go if they need to give someone some carries. But you see what Nebraska was able to do with Isaiah Mosey and Mekhi Nelson out of the backfield in the passing game. When those guys got in space, they made dudes miss. They ran angry. They piled up the yards after the catch.
Yeah, and I'm a little intrigued by some of the playmakers. So, Austin, I'll ask you a thing. Who was your offensive player of the game? Because if you tell me there's the layup, Dylan's layup, he's 1A, right? Emmett being Emmett, he looked like a different, better Emmett is 1B. But neither of them made plays on special teams and offense. And we've talked about Ja'Cory Barney. We've talked about his ability to make plays. But him adding plus yardage, almost 100+ yards in special teams, and then making plays at the receiver position, who's your offensive player of the game?
There's a bunch of options. The guy that I was probably most excited to watch, though, QB2. TJ Lateef came in and put on a show. EP 6 of 7 through the air.
Yep.
128 yards. Could have had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
The first one, ooh, that's some fancy footwork. Nick and Jay and I were kind of laughing about it between
and shame
segments.
on the official. Shame on the official.
Even if it's the right call,
right?
Come on.
Like,
you saw that.
Like,
Give
come on,
the young man a
Grinch.
ton.
Come on, Grinch. Like you saw him. You saw the evil Grinch grin as he remarked the ball.
His heart.
Yeah, he shrunk several sizes that last night.
TJ Lateef was fun. That was electrifying.
He was fun, but every time a thing could have gone wrong, a flipping of the field, every time Barney got his hands on the ball on special teams, he flipped the field. He flipped the field. He kept knocking the wind out of Akron. He kept knocking the wind out of him because you do a thing and you punt the ball and then, oh my goodness, plus 20 yards, plus 30 yards.
That net punt is looking pretty ugly.
Plus 20, plus 30 yards, and he did it 4 times. And if he did it 4 times, then it means he affected the others. And so, not to mention, again, I reiterate, what he did offensively from the receiver position, he makes it easier on Dylan because Dylan can get the ball out of his hand to him, get it into space, and let him do his magic. Not everybody can produce yards after catch like he does. And often, because he's receiver 3, then a big part of all this is he's getting a third corner or he's getting a dime back. You get back up here. Get back over here. Hold on. You wait.
They keep missing their moment.
Well,
give it a second.
Then she's going to be all upset. She'll figure it out. No, we always paid attention to in the mismatch, right? That sometimes the mismatch is in the formation. Sometimes it's me getting Ja'Cory Barney from DB1 to DB3. Or sometimes if it's Akron, DB4, right? And then that's the guy you identify. Maybe you find a guy that on film doesn't tackle so well in open field. Well, if I get my explosive guys matched up to them from motion, and this is why we pay attention to the motion, because one, it puts that stellar lockdown guy under duress because now you're moving again, and you're not going to be easy to find. I'm just impressed by, again, playmakers making plays at a level that we hadn't seen at every skill position, which leads me to this. We have to be sure we give credit to the offensive line.
Always.
We have to be 100% loud and proud of the offensive line because we didn't see any of the quarterbacks under duress. We didn't see them running for their lives. We didn't see them being rushed into making throws. We didn't see them being off balance because, I don't know, their throwing window was dirty or the slot that they wanted to throw from was difficult. No, this offensive line had as good a night as they've had in 5 years. 5 years. Easily 5 years.
It was pretty good. Iron out the red zone inconsistency, but once they do that, they're good.
Well, but what's the red zone inconsistency? What caused it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And there were only two instances. One, your ability to just power somebody into submission, right? Which I don't know. That's not a flaw. That's just sometimes the other guy wins. Like
Which
just
is fair.
sometimes. But
on a night when everything else went right for Nebraska,
it's a workable
three
thing, right? It's a thing. It's a lesson. It's a coachable moment, a teachable moment.
Get lower, drive your legs a little more. You can do it
for whatever those things are. Whatever those things are in play, right? That whatever that was, it didn't get done. Now it doesn't mean that you weren't effective. It just means that in those particular cases you didn't get it done. Now it could have been play call. It could have been personnel on the field.
It seems like Ives ran into his blocker instead of through the gap on one of them.
Patience, right? Because he had been hitting quick. Well, this may have been the one time where slow developing would have worked. Also, remember, Bonner was missing. So,
and will be for the rest of the year.
Right? The guy was there, but here's the question. Here's my question mark. Carter Nelson. We saw a lot. Injury?
We heard from Dana Holgerson earlier this week. They feel like Carter Nelson is just now getting his legs back underneath him. One of the few guys that didn't have a catch for Nebraska. I think we counted out 14 different dudes had a catch. Carter Nelson wasn't one of them. He did play. He was in the game, but we'll see how healthy he is, how much the coaches trust him, and the legs coming off the hip surgeries that he had.
Yeah, but this is why I brought it up. We have to be careful in how we talk about these athletes because we don't know the injuries. They talked about Cam Lenhart, and
yeah, that was wild.
Right, to know that again, and I get a little frustrated because that information in the right hands is productive and powerful. To just say, okay, go easy, like just don't put it out there like that. Don't talk about him like that. And so I try not to do that anyway. But there are times when, what is it now? If Carter's not healthy, if Cam's not healthy, we got to talk about him differently. We just do that. Those are just the rules, and it's the right thing to do.
Last thing before we go to our first break of this hour, Corey on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line, too cute with the tush push instead of slicing through with Emmett. Talking about the fourth down call to Heinrich Harburg. I'll say it this way, DP. You have a big, strong quarter guy who's played the quarterback position before. Long arms might be worth a shot. I also think, at different points in the game against Akron, it can be a let's work on something. Let's see how this looks. You try the tush push. You try the old-fashioned backfield one time. Neither of them went the way you wanted it to. You can afford to mess around with stuff like that against Akron. You put it in practice. See if it works. Put it on film. Give someone something to prep for.
Michigan now has to game plan it. But if Harburg is the answer, or at least a part of the answer or solution to short yardage or red zone, we've seen that guy run from the quarterback position, the traditional quarterback position, and him on the edge against anybody is preferred more than the tush push. That's just me. Again, I
Give him a
understand.
chance to rev up his legs.
I listen, getting that dude on the edge and a 6'6", 240-pound athlete on the edge against a 180-pound guy, I think we got a pretty good shot. But I understand. Let's see if it works. Not everything worked tonight, nor was it supposed to. The things that worked, you check the box. The things that didn't work, you store away and get back to work.
That you do. We'll get back to work right after this here on 93.7 Ticket. Husker Afterparty post-game show. Keep your texts, your comments, your questions rolling in 402-464-5685. It's a Husker Party 68 0 win over Akron. Keep hanging out with us here on the Afterparty.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Stonebrook Exterior is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
Experience an electric vehicle firsthand at LES's EV Ride and Drive, September 28th at the LES Operations Center. Registration is open now, but spots are limited. Visit les.com/drive to reserve your drive.
Looking to upgrade your equipment and keep cash in your pocket? Through August at Landmark Implement, get up to a 24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines. Or lock in a 1.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by 6.2% interest fixed for up to another 36 months. When planning for this year's harvest, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your Landmark implement today and check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Welcome back to the Husker Afterparty Postgame Show. The Husker Afterparty Postgame Show is brought to you by Anderson Ford, Baumgars, and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are making so many Hollywood dreams come true here on Oak Street.
This is what
we're
it
here
is.
for.
She got her dance group. She got her groove on. She got her groove on, right?
And for those people listening, maybe people walking by, I should say, this is recorded for all of human history. Because you know what doesn't forget? The internet does not forget.
The internet is streaming all of this. He said we used to when I was in Carolina, we shot the TV show in a restaurant, and there were 10 cameras, 10, and so we would announce to people before we went live. Listen, if you aren't supposed to be here, if you're here with somebody that maybe you're not supposed to be with, now's a really good time for you to change seats, because these are the seats. These are the TV seats.
Watch out, y'all.
I can say that the couple that just walked by, he was not nearly as enthusiastic as being on the camera with her as she was. So I'm just saying, watch your back. There it is. There it is. Wait, okay, so
give it a
5,
second. Give it a second.
Wait, 4, 3. No, come back. Okay, wait. There you go. That's
you see yourself, people. Yeah, look up there. There we go.
There you go.
They get there eventually.
There you go. We could do that for it, man. We could do that for you. No, we used to tell people but she was super enthusiastic. He was like,
yes, we're doing this.
Nah.
Started Heyman Jewelers streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Rick Heyman, this is promotional content for days. For
Yeah.
DJ friend of the station. So any of this is fair game to you. Your name is on it, Mr. Heyman.
There it is.
Come
There it is.
and
There you go.
get
Okay.
it.
See? This is now wait. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. See, they
look up. You're on the TV. Look at the TV, people.
There you go. There you go. Have your moment, lady. There you go. There you go. Have your night.
Speaking of having night, DP.
Have your night.
Dana Holgerson had himself a night. One of those nights as an offensive coordinator where
It
everything
really
you touch turns to gold. You can do no wrong. Sure, Nebraska had some negative plays. Not everything worked perfectly. But what do you think Dana Holgerson was thinking and feeling on the sideline, seeing 728 total yards of offense and 68 points hung on the board?
Let me cook. When you know that the work has been good, and then being in the restaurant business, chefs used to talk about all the time that you do hours of prep and presentation, and you could do everything right. You can time everything right. In your mind, you got the best cut. You did the best work. You matched up the right things. And then something happens where it all gets thrown off and you have zero control over it. But then there are those nights where the timing is perfect. The service is perfect. You get the right crowd. You get the right space. And the meals come to hit the table and everybody loves it. And every meal hits. The salad hits. The entree hits. The wine hits. The dessert hits, and the tips are good. That's what Dana felt like tonight, because he was over there and he was a master chef. Let him cook, baby. Everything tastes good.
and his counterpart, John Butler, certainly ramped up the aggression in a lot of cases, especially when Nebraska had Akron backed up near its own goal line with some of those aforementioned red zone shortcomings. Man, Nebraska was flying off the ball. John Butler was not scared of Akron taking a shot down the field one-on-one against his defensive backs. Not that he was bringing the house, but that front five really got after it once Akron was backed up inside the 5.
Well, and then you have to ask the next question: who had a better night? Like, what's the better night? 68 points offensively or shutout?
What are you saying, DP?
Right?
What are you saying?
Right? Like,
is Jay Foreman saying defense is a linebacker?
Of course
Are
he
you
did.
saying offense is a wide receiver?
Of course he did. You can be terrible defensively and hit a shutout and shoot a shutout. You put up a 68 burger. You got a lot of things right all the time. Listen, they're both extremely fulfilled. Shutouts are perfection. Literally, you did the job. Do not let your opponent score. You can do a whole lot of things within that, right? But to keep them off the score, you can't lose if you don't give up any points. Those are the rules.
Hasn't happened yet.
Those are the rules, right? But I'm not sure how many people have scored 68 and lost either. Like, there's not a lot.
Keep vamping while I find this.
Right? Like, there's not a lot. Certainly none who also shut out the team. So 68 points.
This happened in 2007. Portland State loses to Weber State 73-68.
How many overtimes? Like, I need to know how many people gave up 68 in regulation and lost. Like, in a regulation game, how many teams gave up 68 points and lost?
Going back to 2011, most points in a losing effort by a ranked team. In the year 2000, Michigan went to Northwestern and lost 54-51.
Why do I not remember that game?
I don't.
That would be a game to remember.
We have your 20 highest scoring college football games. So
Okay.
This will be both sides. Let's get through the pre-modern era. All right,
yeah, I can't imagine. I don't recall.
Arkansas 71, Kentucky 63 in 2003.
Is that
Navy
is that the Lorenzen era of throwing the ball, or Tim Couch throwing around
It
era?
was, yes. The game ended when Kentucky quarterback hefty lefty Jared Lorenzen fumbled the ball and a quarterback keeper in the end zone.
Oh, Jared!
Navy 74, North Texas 62 in 07. Boise 69, Nevada 67 in 07. West Virginia 70, Baylor 63 in 2012. Western Kentucky 70 or
2012
67.
was that the RG3? 2012 Baylor.
Nick Florence year after.
Wow.
Geno Smith versus Nick Florence.
Wow.
You had Pitt Syracuse 76-61.
I'm surprised the Houston Cougars.
Here's 68. Western Michigan 71, Buffalo 68 in 2017.
Yeah, you have to, like, in NFL, I know that they call it the best offensive game ever when Washington won 72-41 over the Bears in the playoffs or something.
The only other one, the legendary Texas A&M 74, LSU 72. The dueling two-pointers.
Was that in so how many overtimes was that?
7.
7 overtimes. Okay.
A lot of tutties and then the walk-off two-pointer by A&M.
Yeah, so the 68 points. When was the last time Nebraska scored 68 points?
2012. Nebraska beat Idaho State 73-7. That's the last time Nebraska hung at least 60 on an opponent.
Wow. Yeah, I would think that in a perfect world, Holgerson would say that 68 points, things worked. Like satisfied. Satisfied may be the word. Always can improve, right? You'll take the 4 penalties. You'll say, maybe I'd like to get a little more pressure. Maybe I'd like to turn some of those pressures into interceptions, that sort of thing. Offensively, you can say, again, I need to be better in the red zone. I can say that I don't want to trip and have the turf monster cost me on any one of 6 plays where it looked like you could have banged your head on the goalpost if you don't trip and fall.
Don't want to fumble inside the 5.
Right. But right. So there are things to coach, but they're both sleeping better tonight. Both of them are going to have a good night's sleep.
The other, I think, takeaway for Nebraska is that right now, DP, the Huskers are averaging 44 points a game through 2 games. That's the reality of the situation. 20 in week 1, 68 in week 2. But if you told Husker fans through 2 weeks that the offense would be averaging 44 points per game, I think sight unseen they take it, especially if you tell them they're 2-0. Now, this is where we get into the conversation we had last Husker After Party post-game show. Didn't look the way Husker fans wanted it to against Cincinnati. Clunky, disjointed, only 20 points, but a win. But let's say, Nebraska wins a little bigger last week, right? Let's say that it's 34-17 last week, and then it's 50-0 tonight. You maybe feel a little bit better. You put up 34 against a high major team with some legitimate speed and Division I athletes. But either way, 44 points a game is 44 points a game, even if it didn't look exactly the way Husker fans imagine.
Yeah, again, sometimes you get lost in the mission. You get lost in what was identified as how we were going to get to a victory. And the victory is the thing. Then you say, okay, in order to win, how many points do I have to score? How many points can I allow and get away with it? Do I have to pitch a shutout? Jay used to talk about with the Texans early on. They knew, look, man, we had damn near throw a shutout in order for us to get wins because we weren't going to score many points. I also knew that there were teams that I coached where I knew the best players were on defense because they were so bad. And it was going to cost me points on offense because I couldn't use those guys. I also knew that there were teams I had where we were better offensively. So I knew, you know what? Y'all get me 3 stops, 4 stops, we'll win the game. And so we didn't know what Nebraska's mission was or task was. We now can see. Listen, early on, we will work on it. I would say that 40% of the playbook was in. And to hear them talk about the fact that, yes, more things were added to the playbook. We are now more complicated this week than we were last week, and that was better than
complicated for opponents.
Well, complicated, no, but here's the thing. If you complicate it for opponents, you're complicated for yourself. It is absolutely necessary for you to understand the nuance of we're adding a different motion package. We're adding an adjustment to a route. We're changing the timing, right? Because we really want to throw the defense off. Well, if we're throwing the defense off, I'm throwing the offense off too. I'm changing the timing, changing cadence, changing the quarterback, because anytime you change the quarterback, you change the cadence, and then penalties happen. So any adjustment that you're going to make, and by the way, the tush push leads to a fake tush push. Every play that you put in puts in another play. It activates another play. And it's also a thing that you may call a thing in the first quarter to set it up for the fourth quarter. Or, as you said, just to get it on film so that I can get Houston Christian to look at it and to burn 30 reps of practice time this week thinking about the tush push.
We want to shout out our friends at Baumgars. This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season and tools for your fall projects to get ready before winter. Get ready with Baumgars throughout Nebraska and here in Lincoln at 56th and Cornhusker Highway. A couple more things to get to. Some of it football related. Some of it's with the excitement of the day. Nebraska basketball and Nebraska wrestling. Some key recruits in the building. We got about 10 minutes left after we return from this break on the Husker Afterparty postgame show.
Here is your trusted partner in exterior solutions for both residential and commercial projects across Lincoln and Omaha. With over 2 decades of expertise, they deliver everything your building needs, all under one roof. From roofing and siding to gutters, wall systems, custom masonry, and metalwork, Stonebrook handles it all with precision, safety, and professionalism. Take the worry out of your exterior projects. Choose Stonebrook Exterior, where quality, safety, and service come together seamlessly. Visit stonebrookexterior.com or call 402-934-5559 to get your free quote today.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
Hello, Husker fans. Stop into Zollner Ford Beatrice for all your automotive needs. Whether new or used, car, truck, crossover, SUV, or EV, we've got them. Shop our ever-changing specials at ZollnerofBeatrice.com or give us a call today and go Big Red. We are Zollner Ford Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
It's one of the best decisions we ever made, having Bryant install a new water softener. Now our glasses and dishes are crystal clean. We save by using less detergents and softeners, but our clothes and towels will look better and feel softer. For a quality softener system without the hassle of arm-twisting contracts, I suggest choosing Bryant. Call 467-1111 or visit BryantLincoln.com to schedule a free estimate and soften up with Bryant. At Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, we do whatever it takes.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Welcome back to the Husker Afterparty Postgame Show. The Husker Afterparty Postgame Show is brought to you by Anderson Ford, Baumgars, and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to it one final time for today. Plenty more Huskers coverage coming your way throughout the weekend, of course, into next week. Nebraska takes down Akron. Final score, Huskers 68, zip. Plenty more going on across the realm of college football. DP, our nation's Army takes down Kansas State. South Florida takes down Big Brother Florida. We mentioned Iowa State beating Iowa. Can't mention that one enough. 16-13 Cyclones take down the Hawkeyes. But of course, here in Lincoln, pretty big recruiting weekend. First home game of the year. It's a night game. Plenty of prospective student athletes can make it to town. Colin Rice was in for the Nebraska men's basketball team. But here at the 93.7 Ticket Studios, Coach Mark Manning, Coach Travell Delagnev came in with a couple of rock stars potentially in the waiting.
Yeah, it's interesting. One, being in the elite space, that Nebraska is now in that unique category. That if you are a world-class wrestler or a wrestler of high caliber and high intention, even in the transfer portal, that you have to consider and should consider Nebraska. And you think about it, it's an interesting fold in that there's only 10 spots. There's only 10 starters in wrestling. And they're assigned by weight class. So there's one per weight class. If you are a 125 pounder and you're looking for a place and you want to be in the best program, you have to look and see who already lives there. Who's already there. It's interesting that Nebraska is being considered in that. But in the building today was the number 1 recruit in the class of 2026, 2027, and 2028. Same family. Again, mom and dad brought them in. And you start to identify those personality traits. You want to know, are they prima donnas? Are they difficult to deal with, right? Well, I think what to figure out in it is, do they have a plan? And is it a positive plan? Right? They're not in it to just say, give me money. No, you want to be a part of a program and they spoke to Faith being at the top of the pyramid for why and how they're making the decisions.
We know that about Coach Manning and his program.
Right. That he's, as Matt Rule says, we're not trying to get always the best athlete. We're trying to get the best fit for us, the best person for us. And Manning falls in that category. As a matter of fact, I'm flattered and humbled that he would allow them to come into this space on purpose. And I didn't know we were going to have the whole family in to do the interview or do the segments. We did two, and they stayed and did two segments. Bo Bassett is everything that he is advertised to be. You can watch him as a wrestler. You know he's elite. He's one of one. Went through the recruiting process, has been in the recruiting process since he was much younger. World-class talent. We're not just talking about a national talent. We're talking about a world-class wrestler. Already gone through the process, went through the process, chose Iowa, changed his mind, took heat for it. And then in the way he handled the heat is where you start to identify that he's really
who they really are.
He's a good dude. And the fact that his family adopted Melvin, and Melvin is the next great thing. And they're so totally different in some very simple ways. But then when you start to talk to them, one, I need to be in the basement to see these wrestling matches that happen at the Bo Bassett house. Like, I need to see that. Like, that's some furniture getting moved. Like, those backyard brawls, listen, they could sell tickets. Like, throw some hamburgers on the grill. Let's go watch the Bassetts wrestle. But they're good young people, and the family are good intentioned adults. And then you make the choice of all the opportunities, all the options. Nebraska's in the final three, final three for Bo, final six for Melvin. And I have a sneaky suspicion that Reagan may have the Huskers at the top of his list just because of kind of the glow in the conversation there. But we were flattered to be included in the process to see what the recruiting's. I mean, they left a meeting with Troy Dannon to come to the ticket. Like, just to give you some idea that, and not every recruit meets Troy Dannon. Right. Not every recruit, not every family gets that meeting, nor does every coach say, DP, do your thing. Like, shoot your shot. And we met on common ground and had two segments of conversation. Great folks.
And I would say
fingers crossed.
Ticket fans, you can still make an impact. Clips are out there.
Yeah.
Handles are out there.
Yep. Let them know that. And they spoke so adoringly about Lincoln and the University of Nebraska. They talked about going to the volleyball game last night. They're leaving tomorrow. I'm not sure if they're going to go to the early game tomorrow. But
shout out the Wright State girls that were in here, by the way.
Yep,
taking down Berkeley
again. When you start, I was told how bizarre I was for thinking that we need to move the station that had been there for 10 years, doing what it did the way it did. Oh, that's the way it's always been done. And I said, no, what I see is we should be closer to all of this. We should be more prominent. We need to be more bright and more shiny and of a higher quality. And then we need to be welcoming to these other teams. And again, with the volleyball tournament, here comes Penn State's coaching staff. Here comes Stanford. Here comes the families, right? And they're poking their head in the door and they're sharing secrets, right? State, look, you walk in the door and you spend time in, and they're sharing us the way we would want to be shared. Right State literally took the clip, posted it, shouted us out and said, listen, thank you for being who you are. And I have another sneaky suspicion that tomorrow morning there may be some Cal Bears in the building. Like, early enough. Now, I don't know if we're going to be up that early. We'll have to trust Harrison and Corey of the Mill to handle it. But
they will.
This is what this is supposed to be. This is what sports radio is supposed to be in downtown Lincoln. That the opposing teams. We got a call from Kansas State soccer, it's the same thing. You know, what time are you open? Same sort of deal. I also know that our first live show tomorrow at 8:00, Sherry and Mike are going to have John Baylor, the voice. Yep, JB's coming in. He's going to sit and do that, and then he's going to go call the game. And that's what we're here for. That's why we're here. We're here for the late night, that we're willing to stay here till 1:00 on a Saturday night. We got here early. Like we've been here. We've been here all day, and we're staying because what else would we rather do? As Marv Levy said, where else would you rather be?
Who's got it better than us?
Who's got it better than us? Nobody.
We'll do it all again tomorrow. Full day of content coming your way, including triple header of NFL football, couple games in the afternoon, and of course Sunday night football. Should be 3 good ones: Giants, Commanders, Lions, Packers, and then the nightcap will be Baltimore and Buffalo. DP also said the magic words. That's the way it should be. I'm sure a lot of Husker fans feeling that way after a 68-0 Husker romp over Akron. 728 total yards for the Huskers. More on this game tomorrow, more on this game throughout the week. Thank you all for hanging out with us here at 93.7 Ticket, ticketfm.com. For Nick, for Jay, for DP, this is Austin Norman signing off. Ticket Weekends continues bright and early tomorrow morning. This morning. Just kidding. Talk to you soon.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking